The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Loudon, New Hampshire, New England's premier NASCAR racetrack. Constructed in 1990, it hosts modified racing and has held NASCAR once or twice a year ever since. It's had triumph and tragedy and is denounced as the Magic Mile. The flat turns and heavy braking makes this an exciting track and tests drivers' skills time after time. Tonight here on PTR TV, we host the 100% Cup Series as they are on race number 20 in their campaign, and we are ready and raring to give you the footage. Tonight, it is myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, along with my longtime commentator, Evan Black. We're going to be doing the calls as I give you the pictures from the truck. Evan, it's been a long time since we have covered this series on our channel. I have done a little bit of work on the other side with 3Y TV, but interesting to see how these guys will handle the Magic Mile, particularly in these next-gen cars, which offer a completely different set of challenges.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting race here tonight. These guys not having a whole lot of experience. You know, it's kind of similar to Martinsville, but just a little bit longer, which I believe we did cover Martinsville here earlier on the channel. So I would expect it to be very similar to that track, just a little bit faster speeds. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers do manage to get down to the corner and just how they're able to get off the corner and everything like that with these new cars being completely different from what we had here last time we were at New Hampshire last September. So it should be very fun tonight for that, and just really looking forward to getting this going.
Evan, you just completely disappointed me because you mentioned a Loudon September race, which us New England natives are still very upset that we did lose. As I am watching right now, Patrick Mouchet in the 46. And he is actually sporting a vehicle that says Demolish NHMS, which, while yes, I do not like this configuration, I need the racetrack because it's the only one I have in New England. So you are not going to be one that I'm actively rooting for this evening. Sorry about that, Patrick. But you kind of caught a snippet of it in the opening broadcast, on the opening of the stream, because the point standings did come up unintended, but we'll bring them up intended this time. After Atlanta last week, where league admin Damaris Hickenbottom, out of absolutely nowhere in the calamity-ridden race at the new Atlanta, pulled out the win. However, I think he's voluntarily omitting the playoff spot for that, or if he's not, he's still out of the top 25, which is the requirement to do it to that. But John Delaney with 7 wins, Robert Miller with 3, Matt Long, Hicksonbaugh, Benefield Hall, and Root, all winners on our season. As of course, we do already have qualifying done ahead of time, so that is already taken care of. These guys are just finishing up practice here. We'll bring up our race details for those on PTR TV that aren't quite used to these races.
Looks like for our race details today, brought to you by Sunshine Boy, which is me on Twitch. So a couple things we're going to have to watch out for tonight. These open setups with these cars out here, we'll have to see who can get down to the corner the best, who can have that center turn and good drive off, with everyone being able to come down and make pit road adjustments here under the cautions, or if we do end up having green flag pit stops, we'll have to see who can make the right calls, right adjustments to get us the better handling car out there, which will definitely come into play. And then a 15 incident limit, which, New Hampshire is not really a short track, but there can be a lot of contact here on corner entry, especially early on in these restarts and the starts and everything like that. So they're going to have to be watching out for that to not get over 15 incidents, or you will be parked for the remainder of the event. And then we'll be having 2 stage ending cautions here tonight, one on lap 70, another one on lap 185. Top 10 going to be getting points. So that we should be able to make both of those on fuel. Shouldn't have any green flag pit stops there, but might have some in that last third of that race.
Yeah, most certainly the case here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. They'll be fighting for the Loudon the Lobster, which some drivers love, some drivers hate, because it is a live lobster that the winner does get here in reality. But a 23-pound lobster on average that they hold in victory lane. So whether you like it or not, that's what you win here up in New England. But these guys are getting ready and headed down trackside. So we are going to join them and go ahead and give you the PTR TV starting lineup here today for the 100% Cup Series at Loudon. On tonight's poll, Alex Murray with Zach Roethlisberger. Whether he has a relation to the quarterback or not, I don't know. In position number 3, Ralph Hutchison, Robert Anderson in 4th, Alex Van de Sant in 5th, with Dustin Hall in the 6th spot. Kyle Ammon in 7th, Bryson Hicksonbaugh in 8th spot, and then rounding out our top 10, Mark Padgett and Jason Taylor.
And then 11th through 20th, we have the number 64 machine of Sammy Bory rolling off in 11th. To his outside, we have the 29 of Tanner Marty in that 12th position. Lucas Hoisma in that 07, I believe, is the points leader as we rolling off in that 13th position. To that side, we have the 83 of Brandon Hastings. In 15, we have the number 33 of Tracy. And 16th, we have the number 8 machine of Raymond Root. And then the rest of the top 20, we have Cameron Stone in the 57, Damian Ossorenza in 18th, Jason Baker 19th, and Michael Christopher rounding out the top 20.
We're going to let the rest scroll by, because I'm not sure if they're going to give us 2 pace laps. Sometimes admin does give us the benefit of the doubt of 2 pace laps. If not, it is a very quick time around Loudon, so the rest of the results will, rather the starting lineup, will pass by. 37 drivers have taken time here this evening. Our weather conditions here in northern New Hampshire are as follows: 82 degrees in the air, 112 tracks, slightly warm conditions as you'd expect here in the summertime, and 8-mile-an-hour northeast wind. I don't see lights on the pace car, so I think we are going to get ready to go green this time. 301 laps around the Magic Mile for the 100% Cup Series. Who is going to take home Loudon the Lobster? Who is going to end up on a rollback? Let's find out together. Pace car has pulled in, entering the Geico start zone, and here we are racing at the Magic Mile.
And Alex Murray will get a pretty good jump here on this initial start down into turns number 1 and 2. Murray down on that inside lane, guys behind him all double file. Battle right now for second. That number 23 machine on the outside with the 54 of Hutchison to his inside as they go down into turns number 3 and 4 now.
57. I believe that is the 57 machine. That's Cam Stone. That may be sideways on that back straightaway. Indeed, I believe it is. So that will be our first caution of the race right on lap number 1. It's not uncommon here at Loudon to have issues like that where it's not necessarily a one-line track, but it's definitely not a multi-groove track of sorts. Sorry about our instant replay logo being a little bit off-center there. We'll fix that in just a bit. But coming off of corner number 2 here. And kind of hard to tell
I'm
there.
not sure if he just got loose or if there's a little bit of contact on the left rear of that 70 machine.
Yeah, I'll try to get a shot here from our chopper cam if we can. He's to the inside of Michael Christopher off of 2 there. And 70 from the chopper cam. It's quite evident the 70 did chop down there. So we'll chalk it up as that.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Cam Stone, but at least he didn't get too much damage there, and he got it back rolling, so just going to lose a lot of that track position that he did have. About, looks like about 10, or about 15 spots lost there. He's going to be coming down pit road, maybe get some new tires on that, or top off with gas, maybe see if he has any damage needing to fix. I wouldn't think anyone would be coming down to take tires. I see a few guys in the back coming down, maybe just top off with gas or something like that. But Alex Murray still out front from the pole. He was able to stay ahead on that initial start. Ralph Hutchison was able to get into second over the number 23 of Roethlisberger.
If you were a stick and ball sports fan, you'd know who that was, but I don't expect that out of you.
Yeah, Roethlisberger in the 3rd position now after starting in 2nd has dropped back 1 spot on that start.
Yeah, if you did watch, obviously if you're watching this live, you may or may not have watched the NASCAR Xfinity Series race, who did race here on this Saturday, July 16th, where we've seen some changes evident to how this racetrack does race, and it did translate to iRacing, where the bottom of the racetrack, lane number 1, or even lane number 2, they're kind of, depending how you take it, but seem to be the dominant lines here. The 3rd lane, you see what the pace car is running, that traditionally is the dominant lane here at Loudon, but just hasn't really seemed to be that way. Whether it's the physics of the track, some wear, some setups, not quite sure, but Loudon's definitely racing a little bit differently these days.
Yeah, that's going to make it even harder for these guys to pass because, you race long enough, you kind of get a little bit of a feel for how to run up there in that 3rd lane and create runs to be able to make passes. But right now, with, everyone running that 1st and 2nd lane, they really don't know what the best way to get that run is, or if they just need to. I feel like right now it's going to be the main thing is just kind of driving it in deep into that corner entry if you're going to be right on the bottom. So that'll be very interesting to see how that does end up playing out later in this race, and once the tires get worn out a little bit. Looks like we are coming to 1 to go this time, so they're going to get doubled up, and we'll be trying this thing again here on lap number 5. Gonna have Alex Murray and Hutchison on the front row here for this restart.
Yeah, we'll see. I think lane choice is definitely going to come into play because as the track does rubber in, perhaps that outside may be more favorable. It is easier to hold more momentum up there because, of course, the bottom here at Loudon, the inside groove lane number 1, it didn't exist back in the day. They actually dug in about 2002 and added an extra lane to the inside to try to create more passing here. Well, you can argue whether or not it worked or not. But they did add that, and it is completely flat rather than the 12 degrees of banking that everybody else is running on. So you kind of have to hold that dynamic into play when making these moves. But we will come off of corner number 4. We are going to be utilizing the Geico restart zone, so Murray will get into it, and now he will get very early in the zone. He'll take that opportunity to get on the loud pedal and pull a good gap on Hutchison, and then Roethlisberger in the 23. He's going to try to go to the inside of Hutchison. Van de Sant there right to the back bumper of Hutchison, trying to figure out where he wants to go.
Yeah, really good jump from Murray there, about 5 car lengths out front. Roethlisberger down to the inside right now in that 23 machine, trying to get second place back where he started, but now he's back down on the inside position in the third. And it looks like the 54 Hutchison is able to make that third lane work, at least for now. They're not quite on exit. That 23 was able to get a pretty good run there out of 4, pull even with him down the front straightaway here. Looking back from looks like that is Van de Sant in the 4th position. And here comes Roethlisberger into second, almost able to contact back there for third between Hutchison and Van der Sant, but able to keep all of that going straight. Now, looks like the one of Dustin Hall up to the outside, trying to make the move for the 4th position to the outside of that number 96 machine.
Yeah, as you can see here, using that outside lane. It's very hard on that outside lane, Evan. Sometimes it's the inside guy wants to wash up and the outside guy has trouble keeping it off the fence, at least in my experience. Maybe it's just me having less talent than some of the guys in this race, but doing a good job. Dustin Hall in the number 1 ride. Of course, Dustin Hall, part of a charity race the other day for a family member. Hashtag Jimmy Strong is a big push in the league, helping out a family member who's undergoing, unfortunately, a terminal illness. I'll try to see if we can get details for that. But or perhaps Carlos Acosta in chat, maybe he can link something in there. But the 96 still side by side, Evan. And you think side by side racing from a fan, it looks fun. But we can say that when you're side by side, lap after lap after lap after lap as a driver, it goes from being fun to rather infuriating.
Yeah, and there goes the 96, deciding to just go ahead and let that one car, Dustin Hall, go by through turns number 3 and 4. That's going to allow Hall to take over that 4th position. Everyone is kind of just trying to get single filed out here, and you know, it's going to be kind of hard to make passes once they do get all single file here. Looks like the first battle we're going to have, actually that battle just went away, so never mind on that. But going back to what we were talking about with the 96 and Hall, they were able to kind of get everything squared away. We see just behind them, the number 5, Kyle Ammon, was trying to make a move down to the inside underneath that 11 machine of Robert Anderson. Wasn't able to make anything happen there down into 3, but he was definitely driving in a lot deeper, just trying to get to his left rear.
Yeah, Kyle Ammon had a good run. I'm trying to remember back if his run was finished last week, because he did Atlanta being what it was, or stricter plate track with handling involved, did take out a lot. But Ammon was one of those drivers who did run up front for the majority of the race. And yep, he did finish second last week. I couldn't quite remember, but yeah, good second place finish at Atlanta. Of course, completely different ball game on our hands this week. Looks like Hutchison up front starting to close back in on Roethlisberger. I'll try to minimize how many football puns I do over the course of the evening, but no promises there. You can see them utilizing that second lane. In the first lane that does have banking on it. That's where everyone wants to be. Nobody's using that traditional third lane here at Loudon, as Murray's pulling off into the sunset here, a second and a quarter up.
Yeah, running about at least a 10th or second, sometimes a little bit more faster each lap than Roethlisberger in second. But here comes the 54 Hutchison, who's a little bit quicker right now, looking down to the inside, getting to the left rear quarter, putting on that number 23 machine, who's now up in that third lane. Not quite where you want to be. Just going to kind of let him go by through the center of the corner there. Doesn't want to fight it too much and end up costing himself any other positions. But Hutchison now up into second. We'll have to see if he's able to make any kind of headway towards that number 28 of Alex Murray. As behind them, we got a couple cars side by side, Van der Sant and Hall, as well as just behind them, Anderson and Ammon, who Ammon now falls back into the 7th position, but that battle is still going on with the 1 and 96. Van der Sant was able to clear there through the center of 1 and 2. Hall was trying to come back, but wasn't quite able to make anything happen there, so all single file here behind them for the moment. Everyone's just getting situated. Yeah, Hall seems to be losing a couple spots there. We had his telemetry up because I was curious whether this would be a shifting track or not. We didn't get our keys to the race sponsored by, don't have a sponsor yet. This track being very line sensitive, as we've alluded to, saving the rear tires, as it is easy to get that wheel spin, especially in 4th gear, running in the higher power band there, the higher RPM bracket. And shifting question mark, at least what we've seen thus far, it is a negative, but perhaps over the course of a longer run, shifting may come into play here, whether it be to 5th or whether it be to 3rd. Who does know that? Bryson Hicksonbaugh on the 63 machine and the knee-high, at least on the rear bumper there, trying to figure out what the sponsor is there, but he is looking underneath the 64 of Sammy Bury,
Hicksonbaugh still looking for his first win. He's one of the league favorites and one of the league highly skilled guys who just hasn't had the 2022 campaign he's looking for. Still falling back in line, but that later end of the top 10, Evan, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, under a blanket here as Anderson still trying to get by Ammon there.
Yeah, this battle's been going on for a while here, and it looks like Ammon is just about able to get clear of Anderson, but through that center 3 and 4, you can just really see that second lane start to work. On exit, that 5 Ammon just running that third lane is able to get a little bit better of a run down the straightaway, but just he loses too much in the middle of the corner.
Oh, and we'll somebody see loose right there in the back.
The 11, Anderson got really loose, but you can still see he's still gaining ground through the center of that corner. Just that second lane has so much more grip, so if he didn't get loose there on the original entry of that corner, he would have made up so much more time there. And caution out on the track, trying to see who that's for.
In that number 10 machine, the Dasani, can't quite see the make, the Dasani Camaro of Chris Cloud. So he was entering turn 1 very low. He just self-spin, and a couple guys had some close calls there, missed him, but he was actually rather slow even before that too. I'm going to go back a little bit further, Evan. You can see here on our PTR TV replay, he was coming off of turn number 4, and he
kicks out.
Yep, he got loose there, so that probably got the rear tires mad. So then when he came into turn number 1, the rear tires were mad, and he already was down on grip, and that just caused him to double loop it.
I saw he had his right rear right on that transition from where it goes from the completely flat up to that 12 degrees of banking in that second lane, so that definitely didn't help him either. I think just having the hot rear tires and then getting that right rear on that transition just completely spun that car around. And you know, really, if you do get your right rear on that spot with some angry tires, there's nothing you can do.
Yep, so it does take a little bit for those to cool down, but again, lap number 19 here, and not really seeing much in the way of pit stops. It's actually not uncommon here at Loudon for you to stay out for quite a long time, and it's also quite, well, it's not uncommon, trying to get the grammatics there, for 2 tire stops here, at least in the real world. Sometimes that doesn't translate over to the sim world, but just the nature of this track, you're not really putting a lot of load on the tires, so they don't really wear, and as difficult as it is to pass, a 10th or 2 on the stopwatch is still very difficult to overcome, even if you're a driver with fresh tires.
Yeah, definitely is not as much gain as you would usually see at the other tracks, because you know it's pretty uncommon that we run about 18 laps or so there and have a caution now, and did not come down pit road to get any tires. No one did, actually. I see they do have 7 sets in the race. I believe that is 1 on the car, so 6 on pit road for these guys. So might be just trying to save them for a little bit later in the event, but probably most likely it's just they don't really feel the need to put them on. And you know, especially since we had a few cautions there, we haven't really had any cars go a lap down. JC Gibson and Damian Acerenza did go behind the wall. I don't think Damian actually made any laps out there. I'm not sure if he was having some mechanical issues or what was going on, but JC Gibson 12 laps down, but everyone else top 35 all out there on the lead lap. So if you are a guy that comes down pit road up there in the top 10 and no one else really behind you does come down, then you're going to go all the way back to 35th, and it's going to be really hard to recover from that.
Yeah, most certainly the case. And of course, we do want to thank everybody here for tuning in to PTR TV. Of course, we haven't done one of these 100% races since April, Dover, I want to say it was. So if you haven't liked and subscribed as a watcher, maybe a 3Y TV coming over here, we'd appreciate that like and subscribe. We will be back, not next week. Pocono will be covered by our friends at 3Wide with Andre, Carlos, and sometimes myself over there. But we will be here the following week, like with my friend Tyler will be covering here with me, and will be the all-new, as of the other day, iRacing announced will be at the all-new Indy Road Course. So a new road course layout with absolutely no practice. That'll be an interesting thing. So we'll have it first for you here, right here on the channel. But as you said, Evan, 1 to go. Murray will keep on that inside lane. We'll see if Hutchison can get a better jump on that outside.
Yeah, and a lot of these drivers are still getting used to that Geico restart zone having that in effect here, so that's going to really make it a lot easier for that second place guy because you have a lot less anticipation time for it. You kind of know he's going to be going from here to here, and it makes it a lot easier to anticipate that jump. So we'll have to see if Hutchison is able to make something of that up there on the outside lane. Going to be restarting on old tires as the pace car does come down onto pit lane, just about into that Geico restart zone, and there we are waiting for Murray, and there he goes, able to get a pretty good jump over Hutchison. Not quite as good as the last time, but definitely clear by about 2-3 car lengths, as the battle right now is for second with Van der Zandt down to the inside of that number 54 machine through turns number 1 and 2. Not quite able to make anything happen there. Still just side by side here down the back straightaway. No one able to get clear double file all the way throughout this pack. Only one feeling comfortable out there right now is that 28 of Alex Murray.
Yep, as everybody, as you said, still side by side, which while Loudon is not necessarily, it's hard to pass, but it's not hard to run side by side. So you will see that throughout a significant amount of time, drivers running side by side and trying to figure things out. But Murray, again, getting that jump, even with that restart zone, everything that you talked about, making it a little bit easier to get those runs and stay within reason of the leader. Hutchison just seemed not to be able to do that, whether it's starting in second versus third, different final rear gear ratios, or just got caught sleeping, one of the two, but one of the three, I guess. But yeah, definitely didn't get the start he needed, so now he's going to have to get back to that 96. But Roethlisberger on the 23, he's going to have something to say about that because he is closing in, but going back a little bit further. And you can see side by side with the 8 of RJ Root. Remember, he was in that thriller of a race at Bristol Dirt here on the channel, getting the victory on the last lap maneuver. He is on that third lane, which is the more traditional lane here at Loudon.
Fourth lane.
Yeah, don't want to be up there, but Anderson in the Tide Ride tried to make something happen, but and he still tried to make something happen, and someone's really trying to make something happen with a 3-wide attempt.
Sammy Borey down to that inside, all the way down on the flat, sort of the track a little bit through the center of 1 and 2 there. Not quite able to make anything happen on Anderson, but he sure was trying, as all these guys are just trying to pounce on each other at the same time. Anderson now looking to the inside of the 8 of Raymond Root. That's going to allow Sammy Borey up there on the outside through that third lane in turns number 3 and 4. Couldn't quite get the run, just that second lane. So much more grip down there, makes it way easier for that guy. And here comes the 64 once again, trying to make a move down to the inside. He gets to the inside, gets on that transition, loosens him up a little bit, slides up the hill, almost contact there with the 11. Able to keep it straight and just gives a really good run out of turn 2, right on his door here down the back straightaway as they enter turns number 3 and 4. I think Borey should be able to get him here this time by through 3 and 4, just about clear. And he does clear the number 11 of Anderson using that inside lane. But Anderson coming back down the front straightaway here.
Yes, he is. That Tide Ride not rolling over without a fight. He's going to try to go to that inside lane, and this is something that I did a NASCAR B-Fixed race here on the iRacing official side of things, and with the different lines here coming into play at Loudon, using the first lane versus the second lane, or I guess second versus the third, how you want to look at it, it's actually a little bit more risky on that inside because you don't really know what lane that guy is going to give you on the outside. Is he going to give you the second lane? Is he going to pinch you down to the first lane? You're going to kind of be careful with that and try to figure things out here. As here comes Mark Paget just a little bit further ahead, that 02. I think he may be a newcomer. I've never heard the name, but he's clearly showing his presence and why he's in this series, because he's making a move on one of the top guys, Dustin Hall, down that back straightaway, and has that side-by-side position. Doesn't quite send it off in there, so he's probably going to have to fight it off for a little bit longer. And here comes RJ Root taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, Root trying to do anything he can to get by those two guys in front of him. Paget able to get a nose ahead down the straightaway, entering turn 1 and 2. Able to get clear of that one car. We'll see if he can hang on to it, and he is going to be able to do so now. Raymond Root looking to the inside of the one machine of Dustin Hall. Not quite able to make anything happen there as Paget got really high there out of turn 2. Had to get out of the throttle, lost a lot of momentum. Here comes Raymond Root down to the inside of that one machine, right on the back bumper through turns number 3 and 4. Not quite able to make anything happen there. Got a battle going on in front of them as well. Roethlisberger looking down to the inside, entering turn 1 and 2, able to clear, trying to slide up in front of him, 54 up to that 4th lane. Not quite able to make that work. Just not enough grip up there. Roethlisberger now into the 2nd position. And, you know, I'm not sure if Hutchison's going to really appreciate being shoved up the hill like that. He might remember that one for later if he ends up racing that 23 again.
Yeah, it looked to me like he was originally planning on just giving him the spot, but then in doing so, Roethlisberger kind of just slid up unnecessarily, or maybe he just overdrove. But either way, from as you said, from Hutchison's perspective, I was giving you the spot, and why'd you have to try to shut my door there? But Hutchison's not one to let things go. He will make his peace in whatever means he finds necessary. Kyle Ammon trying to make something happen here. He's looking to the inside, and Hutchison just, he must be lifting, or that car is really falling off a cliff that much of it. It's hard to tell, but these guys are getting by him without much of a fight.
Yeah, we'll have to see here now, as he does have a little bit of clear track behind him. He's got the 02 Paget on his back bumper, but not too close to be applying a lot of pressure as on corner entry or exit here. Paget does get a pretty good run down the back straightaway, not quite able to take a look into turns number 3 and 4, but Hutchison is definitely not driving it in as deep as these guys are getting off the corner as well. You know, it's hard to say if it's just those older, or if he's wore his tires out a little bit more, if he's just trying to save a little bit, or just not quite as good of a handling of race car as he would like. But going behind them, got a battle forming once again with Raymond Root and Dustin Hall. Hall down to the inside, Root on the outside of the exit turn number 2. A little bit of contact there, able to keep it going straight, but it's going to cost the one of Hall just a little bit down the back straightaway, entering turns number 3 now. We'll have to see. Looks like Raymond Root's going to be able to make that outside lane work, and just about clear. Now he's cleared the one of Dustin Hall, and behind him, Sammy Borey looking to the inside of that one machine once again. Now down into turn number 1, trying to get to the left rear quarter panel of the one machine of Dustin Hall. Not quite able to get there as they exit turn 2, and here comes the one of Dustin Hall to the inside of Raymond Root now as we go down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Hall that one getting to the inside of the 8. So just these guys almost as if they're rubber banded together. They're just not quite giving each other that opportunity. And the 02 just ahead of this. Who says you can't battle at Loudon here? The 02 of Paget trying to get by Hutchison here, not missing anything up front. Murray up by 1.6 over Van de Sant. But Paget will clear this time by, and without much recourse there, didn't get loose, and he will carry on with that position. But just scrolling back a little bit further to Beery, who's getting by Hall here, as Hall is definitely falling in the back direction there. Thought Hall kind of blocked there, or ran him down the track just a little bit. Beery had to back off, and that'll cost him the run. But Hicksonbaugh is taking advantage of this as well. Hicksonbaugh started in the 10th spot, up 2 on the evening thus far after 36 laps.
Yeah, still a lot of racing here tonight left at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and
RJ
Root having some issues. That's not going to bring out a caution as he is down in the grass. I'm not sure if he had a little bit of help there, just got a little bit loose. We'll have to go back out on the replay and take a look and see what happened.
Yeah, on screen right now, and yeah, he just got loose there. Looks like he was trying to drive down the track, which is kind of how you get around Loudon here. You kind of almost diamond it. At least that's one of the approaches that people will take. And in doing so, just, you know, as we talked about here, all the different transitions throughout the racetrack. If you hit one of those transitions wrong, it will get you a little bit more loose than you were expecting. So luckily for him, not catastrophic damage, but definitely a massive loss of track position down to 34th here. But these guys that he was racing with still going at it with a vengeance here. Bury and Hicksonbaugh with Miller. Just behind that, we have Lucas Hoytsma, one of the guys we usually see up in the top 10, fighting as hard as he can.
Yeah, Hoytsma not quite having the run he would like here. Currently in 11th, started 13th, so up 2 spots, just kind of hanging just outside that top 10. And you know, a lot of these guys that we see out here on a regular basis running up front, it might be a little bit harder for them out here tonight at New Hampshire. You know, I know for me it happened a lot where I couldn't really get the technique down, get the speed for this track like I could on a lot of other tracks. It's definitely a lot more challenging than others, and you just need to have the right feel for it, which I did not have. So it's definitely a kind of acquired thing and something you gotta like and be good at. So, you know, some of these guys just might be struggling a little bit more than others, but just in front of them, Hicksonbaugh looking to the inside of Dustin Hall. That is for 7th out there, and we have a caution out on the track once again.
and that is Bryson Alexander in the Duracell Mustang. Had some problemos here, so we'll go back on replay. He's around Chris Cloud, who, remember, he got his problems here, so clearly batteries and water don't mix. We'll see what happens here entering one. And coming down the track, looks like Cloud got loose and got loose down the track into the 26. That's kind of how I took that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me as well. And I got to point out that 26 machine is looking very sharp. That's a nice looking Duracell car out there. So kudos to whoever designed that, but caution out here on the track. And I got to assume everyone's going to be coming down pit road here to get some tires. It looks like they are doing so, being led by Alex Murray. I see one guy staying out.
This might be couldn't make up his mind there. And I think that's who's that in that pink and white car that is staying on the speedway. We'll be able to find this out in due course as the telemetry does update. We have Lucas Hoytsma, who is going to be our leader tentatively, with Jason Taylor, Michael Christopher. Again, league admin Kevin Steele, who did had a phenomenal run last week as well at Atlanta. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get the finish to back that up, but he definitely had the run. Oh, did he have the finish? Let me just pull up the results, because last week was last week, but still it's long enough ago for my old brain. Yeah, 23rd, but that was not how he ran. And of course, last week's winner, Damaris Higginbottom, that 00. He is in 5th. And of other guys that have stayed out, we have Preston McRae, one of our YouTube fan favorites, in the spam ride this evening. Can honestly say I am 33 years old. I have never had spam a day in my life. I don't know if I'm missing it or if it's a blessing, but that's just that. And then that is it for cars that have yet to pit.
Yeah, Hoytsman staying out there, you know, top 6. Looks like they have all stayed out. Be an interesting play here. You know, they must just be trying to save a set of tires, because I don't really see a way that they'd be able to hang on until, you know, the stage is over, trying to get the stage win here in about 30 laps. And they had fallen off, at least for Hoytsman. He fell off about 9/10 of a second over the course of that run. Started out running in 31 flats and ended up at a 31.9 towards the end of that last run. So I don't really see him hanging out in the lead too much. You know, with Murray back there in the 7th, that should be able to work his way up through the field with those fresher tires. You know, he might be able to hang on for 5 laps, 10 laps or so, but definitely don't see him making it to the end of this stage. So interesting call here. We'll have to see if having that extra set of tires towards the end of the race does help him out. But yeah, so Hoytsma, Taylor, Christopher, Steele, Higginbottom, the top 5, and then McRae is the other car to have stayed out. Looks like they're coming to the one to go here this time by, and Hoytsma going to be choosing that inside line, which has been preferred so far tonight. We'll have to see if once it gets rubbered in, it might move up to that outside lane.
Yeah, I could see here just aesthetically that it has slightly darkened over the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We have a cloud, it looks like, over the entire speedway, less the turn 2 segment, which is in sunshine. So whether that has a tangible effect on the race, we will find out in due course. But it'll be interesting to see. We see, you know, with old tires, new tires, you kind of talked about how the pace didn't drop off dramatically, but we see on older, different tracks where sometimes you are, you know, a sitting duck blocking the field. Do you think we're going to have calamity? Or do you think this is kind of going to be a slow bleeding effect for these guys that stayed out?
I think it's going to be more so the slow bleeding effect. You know, only 6 guys staying out. It's not going to stack everything up here too much, but anywho, we are coming into the restart zone here in just a moment with that pace car ready to pull down into pit road. There he goes, now waiting for Hoytsman to hit that Geico restart zone, and there he goes now. Early on the pedal, able to get a pretty good jump over that 12 machine of Jason Taylor. Now the 70 of Michael Christopher looking for that second position.
Oh, we're wrecking in the back.
And caution.
59 machine, 81 machine, our Duracell ride of Bryson Alexander that we were just talking about at the tail end of the field. Something stacked up there, and will bring us under yellow flag conditions yet again this evening. We will scramble on the replay and try to find the source of it. And
I'm not too sure what happened there.
Yeah, I bring it up on screen. Again, I see what I see, but I don't have much confidence to figure out what happened in it. You can see there was a stack up on the inside. Whoa, 81 just absolutely mutilated couldn't quite see that car that was in front of him. Maybe we can get a different look focused on the 81. A little bit further back we need to go.
First I would see that 38 car of Pierce. Looks like he just checks up a little bit. I don't know if he missed a shift or what, but that stacked up the number 33 of Tracy behind him, and then Samuelson in the 81. It's right into the back bumper of those guys, and around they went. So not sure if he missed a shift or what happened there. Kind of a weird situation there on that restart, but we are back under caution here on lap number 46. So only going to have about 25 laps to go until the end of the stage. Alex Murray was able to make it up to 5th on that restart, so up 2 spots for him. Going to move him a row closer to our leader of Hoytsma, so definitely not what Hoytsma was looking for on that restart.
Yeah, not at all, but I think we're probably going to go 1 to go here, and we'll maybe on our next caution we'll try and grab somebody for an interview, but I think our replay took a little longer, so I don't want to rush somebody and make an awkward situation there. So we'll see what happens on this next sequence. But just kind of a little summary of where everything is right now. Everybody thus far, I'm looking at the telemetry, there is no active driver as of now being listed 1 lap down, so that is a good thing in terms of competition. Of course, there's some damage out there, just as I say that. Bryson Alexander will be the first driver, but that still leaves us 34 drivers on the lead lap here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So as you said, Evan, with that any pit stop you make, if not enough drivers make that pit stop, you are absolutely going to be murdered with track position. So that definitely comes into play with your decision making.
Yeah, absolutely. We do not want to fall back into this field with how hard it's been to pass here tonight. But we're going to have on the front row now Michael Christopher making his first appearance to that front row in the number 70 machine, and then to his inside we have leader Lucas Hoytsma, and then just behind them they're going to have Alex Murray in that 3rd row. But here we go out of turn number 4, waiting for the pace car to pull down into pit lane. There it goes, waiting on that Geico restart zone. There we are in it, going a little bit later in the box this time by, and whoever that was did not get going there at all. Not entirely sure who that was, but thankfully no wrecking there. Battle now going on with Jason Taylor to the inside, trying to see who that was. That was
restarted. Hickenbottom, I believe.
Hickenbottom.
The white car to the outside lane, yes, most certainly.
It was in that 00 machine, moving him way back, just barely inside that top 10 now. But we do have a battle going on for that lead. We have the 07 Hoytsma Taylor now in 2nd, right on the back bumper, taking a look down to the inside, entering turns number 1 and 2. He's going to try and dive it down in on the bottom. Gonna get side by side with a little bit of contact, shove him up the hill. Gonna be 3 wide for the lead with Alex Murray on those 4 fresh tires down to the inside lane. He's gonna have the preferred position here down the back straightaway. Not able to get to the inside of Jason Taylor coming into turns number 3 and 4. Now it looks like we have the number 96 Van de Sant behind them in that 3rd position. But now Alex Murray looking to the inside of the 12. Coming down through turns number 1 and 2, should be able to clear him pretty easily here with those fresher tires. There he goes for the lead. Alex Murray, our pole sitter, getting back out front and bringing Van de Sant with them. That's going to move Taylor back to 3rd.
Yeah, I can say that Hoytsma a couple laps ago during that big hodgepodge, he definitely just about scraped the fence there. That caused a bigger wadding up of those guys, which caused a little bit of stress for those involved up there. But we have Roethlisberger looking to the inside of Taylor, so those older tires are starting to show their age. And I'm looking here, Evan, at some of my back-end telemetry, and can actually say that Hoytsma, well, that graphic is not correct, but Hoytsma has actually stayed out this entire race. He has not pit once, and he's still on his original tires versus everybody else who at least has had 1 pit stop this evening.
Yeah, so Hoytsma did a little bit of a strategy call, trying to save us the tires for later on in this race. We'll have to see if that does end up working out. He's now in 10th, so just on the bubble for getting that last stage point here with just under 20 laps to go in the stage, so I don't really think he's going to be able to hang on to it. He does have a pretty good gap back to the guys behind him. First, those being Ralph Hutchison, who dropped back a little bit due to those pit stops and just wasn't able to get going quite like he wanted to there. We'll have to take a look and see what does end up happening for the rest of this stage. But it looks like he's trying to make his way up through the field and get back up there with that 07 and Hoistman and get around him.
Yeah, so brief 3 wide, it looks like, as we were focusing on Hutchison. I saw there on the long shot, in and about the area of RJ Root. Remember, he just had that issue, and he's trying to recover from it. He's in the vicinity of Dustin Hall as well. Hall just, that orange car just out of the shot here. John Delaney, you know, he's won 7 races this year, Evan, and I think this is probably the first time we've actually brought his name up all broadcast, as we're 1/6 the way into it. And he's in that 15th spot in that Sparko Mark Martin-esque Camaro, but he's working his way through the field a little bit slower than usual, but that's just kind of the nature of this racetrack.
Yeah, started back in 37th, now to 15th, so really good run for him. Just, you know, not running quite as high as we would expect him to, but he is going to be getting up there, I guarantee it. Now to the inside of that 07 Hoistman on those older tires. Hoistman now back to 15th after restarting on the front row. Definitely not the run he was wanting here before this stage ending caution, but Delaney now up to 14th with his eyes set on that top 10. He's got those 4 cars right in front of him, so he can get up there. He has the top 10 in the sight. That car being Ralph Hutchison, so he definitely has his work cut out for him. He knows what he needs to do. He has all 4 of those guys in front of him and ready to pass.
Yes, he does, and I do want to just, you know, make sure I give some airtime to the leader. Sometimes, Evan, in these kind of races where the leader is just pulling away and, you know, not really allowing anybody to battle with him because he's just so fast, we kind of just forget about him and don't talk about what he's actually doing. And Alex Murray, again, he's just, that's why we haven't talked about him. Nothing has gone on. He's led 46 out of the 56 laps. He got through all those older tire guys and got back into position where the stage is basically going to be a given for him. And every single restart, regardless of who's been in 2nd or 3rd or 4th or what have you, everybody, he's been pulling by about that 1 second. And whether this continues on a super long run, we haven't seen, but people are going to have to figure something out to make a move on that 28 tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And even before any of those guys did come down pit road, we saw Alex Murray still continue to be the fastest car out there. He didn't really have anyone that was catching up to him or anything like that after about 30, 40 laps before they did come down pit road. So at least for about halfway through a fuel run, he does seem to have the dominant car. We'll have to see if that does continue here tonight, as you know, we're going to be having a lot more pit stops tonight, a lot more chances to make some adjustments to your car. We see the number 11 machine Anderson running around in that 5th position on screen right now. Just in front of him, Mark Paget and Roethlisberger. And 3rd, and I'll probably never say that name right.
I'm Roethlisberger. You just got to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, even though I said I wasn't going to do it, I'm trying to figure out precisely what is on Mouché's car. We're on the back end of Hastings here. Make it back into a forest or something is Mouché's message here. And, you know, demolish NHMS. Please don't race here again. Turn it back into a forest. And then on the hood of the car, he has an X covering the logo. So what I'm insinuating is he's on the board of directors here and a big advocate of this raceway.
Yeah, and you know, I gotta agree with him.
We need somebody. Hutchison, you got to get a little bit closer because I can't, from this broadcast, I don't have a way to read his back bumper. But there is some more antics on his back bumper as well. If we can get somebody to get closer to him, we can see it. Because I don't have an angle for it. So perhaps, Evan, if you want to relive that mystery for us.
Yeah, so on the back bumper of that number 46 machine, we have, it says New Hampshire Motor Speedway has good racing with an X crossed through it. Fun driving experience with an X crossed through it.
That's subjective.
For a forest around it.
That's subjective.
I will admit it's fun to turn laps here, but I hate racing at the track. But continuing on with the back bumper, it says land for a forest around it with a check mark. And
can't refute that one.
What's that say? More than 180 miles from Sean Attack? Is that what that says?
I don't know. I mean, I hate using this camera on a broadcast. I absolutely hate using this camera on a broadcast. My chase cam, because I think it's cheesy as hell, but I'm going to use it from Sean Attack. So whether that's Sean O'Brien Jr., because I think he's a big guy in the Discord as well. I hate using that camera, but I use it just for the sake of figuring out that what that said. So maybe someone in the Discord or YouTube chat can live that inside joke and explain it to us. But
yeah, so more than 180 miles from a Sean Attack, the last item on that back bumper, and hopefully we'll have the explanation for that here in a little bit. But Alex Murray still out front now, almost up to a 2-second lead over Van de Sant in second. After starting up in fifth, or back in fifth, moved up a few spots into that second position. And most of the guys up there in the top 10 did start there. We have Ray Root started in 16th, currently running in 9th, so up a few spots for him. Patrick Mache started 22nd up to 8th now, and then Brandon Hastings started 14th and up into the 7th position now. Everyone else in the top 10 did start there and has just moved a few spots or stayed in the same spot that they were in. But Dustin Hall was involved in a little bit of a battle here. Cam Stone, who we saw involved in the first caution of the night.
Yeah, great
up there
comeback
into
from
11th
him.
position now, or 10th actually, back into the top 10. So great comeback for that number 57 machine. But that battle right now, Hutchison dropping back a spot here. Dustin Hall looking to the inside. And
slow car to the inside there.
Who is that?
That's Chris Cloud. He's been, he is super slow too. I don't know if he's gonna, I mean, I'm assuming he's going to make it back to the pits. He's pulling off into the road course area, and we don't have that layout engaged, and there's not much going on, so we're just going to follow him on this random adventure. I mean, per Muche, there's pure Muche. There's nothing going on in Loudon Sucks, so we may as well follow something that's going on. And he's just, you know, this layout is actually super fun and a skippy. If you never run this track in the Skip Barber or the Mazda, I would recommend it highly. So he just took the scenic route to pit lane there. If he's a Uber driver, I'm not paying the bonus fee for that extra mileage, but we are coming through lap 67 and 3 laps to go in our stage. Stage is lap 80, Corey. Haha, learn how to read. So no, we have 13 laps in the stage. So as Murray doubled his lead since we last talked about it, up by almost 2 seconds now. We're just trying to see what else is going on in and about the top 10 for positions. Cam Stone in that 10th spot, 3/4 of a second or so up on Hall, so I don't really see that 11th spot changing. Delaney up to 12th. What we'll do is we'll switch over our ticker back to lap time so you can kind of see where your favorite driver is on the stopwatch. Oddly enough, Murray up front was one of the slowest guys in the top 10 last time, interestingly enough. Van de Sant with a 67, Roethlisberger with a 57, Paget with a 57, so some good times there. We'll see.
Yeah, those guys in 3rd and 4th, so real good run there. And actually, it is lap 70 is the stage, Corey. They just closed pit lane.
Oh, so I made a typo, but
so we are going to be 2 to go in the stage here for Alex Murray. Going to have just under a 2-second lead now. We see once again last time by Van de Sant just a little bit quicker once again, about a 10th and a half. And then still once again the fastest car on the track last time by was Roethlisberger. He ran a 66, so about 2.5 tenths quicker than our leader. Coming to the white flag here in the stage, going to be the last lap for Alex Murray, who has a pretty good lead over that 96 machine, about a 1.5 seconds now. Definitely closing in on him. Not sure if Alex Murray maybe just trying to play it safe here on this last lap, or maybe the tire is finally starting to wear out on him.
Yeah, definitely that little battle there with Hickenbottom. With Hickenbottom. I'll get those mixed up. Definitely slowed him down there, so that lead down to about a 1.5 seconds. But either way, it will be enough to get the stage win for Murray. So we'll wait approximately for the top 10 to cross the stripe there, and there goes Root into that 10th spot. So somebody in that top 10 dropped out because Stone and Root did pull into the top 10 there, interestingly enough. But that's going to be our stage. And I'll get our caution and everybody will get situated, and presumably pit stops will be a very populated activity because everybody's will have about 30 laps on their tires.
Yeah, should be having everyone coming down pit road. I really don't think anyone's going to be staying out here under this lap 72 caution for the first ending of the stage here tonight. Alex Murray taking that win from the pole, led a lot of laps, don't have the exact number, but a lot of laps out here tonight. I think all but 10 so far.
Correct.
Yeah, all but 10. So we'll have to see if that trend does continue on, if these guys are going to be coming down pit road, as it should be open this time, I do believe. We'll have to see. Looks like pit lane is going to be open. Here comes Murray down pit road. See that 00 staying up. That is Hickenbottom. He is a lap down, so he cannot pit this time by. But Alex Murray leading everyone down pit road. Going to be most likely getting 4 tires fuel. I do see Dustin Hall stayed out, but he seems to be the kind of lone wolf out there for the moment.
Yeah, we'll see that, and maybe we'll get to have a brief interview with Alex Murray. I'll allow him to get out of the pits before we do such activity. Make sure, see if he comes out with the lead. Of course, as you said, Hall did stay on the track, and with a big run is Van de Sant there, but not quite enough to get it at the stripe. But we'll go ahead and pull Alex Murray down and have a quick chat with him. Alex, you got a copy, my friend?
I got you.
All right, so you've been on rails here this evening. You've led essentially all the laps, less those couple laps with those guys that stayed out here. But Van de Sant was coming there towards the last end of the stage. How's the car, and any concern on the long runs?
We just got to keep the right rear on it in the long run here. Wanted to push it there, knowing we only had about a 30-ish lap run. Wanted to see what tire wear would look like, but car's pretty good. Just got to work on it a little bit, get it a little bit better, and hopefully we're there at the end.
Yeah, I know you haven't really had too much traffic to deal with, little competitive traffic anyways. If you do get stuck in traffic, do you have any confidence in getting by and how the car will drive if you're on a very track that's very tough to pass on?
My game plan is just to be patient, not force any issues. You know, obviously we have the car that can get it done, so try to keep it in one piece and be there at the end.
All right, well, thanks for having a chat with us. We'll let you get back to it, and good luck.
No problem, thank you.
So some major confidence in that 28. And if you're watching this live, I do apologize for the inappropriate spam that is flooding us now. We'll try to get taken care of with that. But head down here, lap number 75 coming on the books here. So again, our next stage, I had it actually listed. The funny part of it is I actually did have it listed as lap 70, but I'll look at it really quickly and it looked to me like lap 80, but I'm pretty sure, I think Andre's watching this off and on. For some reason, I can't get stages right ever. So I either completely ignore it or I get the wrong lap. Very seldom do I actually nail it 100%. So clearly that trend continues, but we'll try again here. Stage number 2, Murray will again be the control vehicle, choosing that inside lane. And Van de Sant be on the outside. I don't think he has led the outside charge. That's mainly been Hutchison, who did struggle with that. But we'll see what happens this time around.
Yeah, maybe Van de Sant will be able to get a little bit better of a run here on this restart. But we heard Alex Murray talking about trying to save the right rear tire. Maybe that was what was slowing him down a little bit towards the end of that last run. But we'll have to see if he can try to save that right rear a little bit more as they come through turns number 3 and 4 now, waiting for that pace car to pull down into pit lane. Exiting turn number 4 now here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and there goes the pace car. Waiting to get to that blue Geico restart zone. We are in it, waiting on Murray. There he goes, and really good jump over that 96. The 23 machine is going to be able to hang on that inside lane for a second. Let's see. Looks like 96 now. Able to get clear. Had a really good entry to turn 1 and 2. Was able to clear in the center. Get a pretty good run off to stay clear for a second. That's going to have the battle now for the 4th position. Robert Anderson as well as Paget. And that number 02 to the inside through turns number 3 and 4. Anderson looking to the outside of that 23, but we have a little bit of a battle for the lead going on. Van de Sant is not letting Alex Murray get away here. Almost a little bit of contact there through 1 and 2. Got down to the inside, out of corner number 2, down the back straightaway here. That 96 machine got a really good run through 1 and 2. Gonna see if he can do the same through 3 and 4. Looks like Alex Murray kind of backing up the corner, just gonna let Van de Sant go and try and save a little bit of right rear tire here on this run. Still going to have a little over 100 laps to go in this stage, so ways to go for these guys. Most likely going to have to make a green flag pit stop, but we'll have to see. And Van de Sant still out there in the lead, so first battle going to have to go back to Mark Paget. He's dropping back a little bit now, not quite having the restart he needed there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see here, just going back to what happened up front of it. If we saw Van de Sant come on strong there at the end of the stage, and obviously Murray just let him go. Is Murray expecting him to lose his stuff? Because last time by, Van de Sant seemed to be faster on the opening stage and at the end of the stage, but maybe he thinks he's going to burn his stuff up. But we'll see how that does progress. Ammon and Paget battling.
Van de Sant really loose out of turn number 2 there. Sorry to cut you off, Corey, but it's allowed Alex Murray to get right back to the back bumper. Not sure if he's going to try and make a move here. He had enough of a run, I think he could have, but probably just wanted to stay behind and not try and push an issue here. But Van de Sant really loose out of turn 2 last time by. Don't want to anger that right rear too much. It's very easy to do here at New Hampshire, and once you get that right rear mad, you can, it kind of just stays mad for the remainder of that run, so hopefully it didn't upset it too much.
Yeah, at least on iRacing and to an extent real life as well, that, you know, that heat cycle, that curing process, once you superheat the tire, it doesn't recover. It kind of just resets itself from that point. At least that's how it feels in the simulator anyways. As you can see here, the 57 of Stone, he drove to the outside of the 83, or attempted to. I definitely think that outside that third lane is becoming more and more prominent, at least from a passing perspective. Seems, at least from just standard hot lapping or single file lapping, these guys are choosing to run the second lane, maybe right on the seam to de-wedge the car and loosen it up just a little bit. But everybody, at least in the top 10, has a single filed out. Hutchison back to that 13th spot. Contact with the back bumper of Sammy Bury there through the center of 3 and 4. Bury was able to hold on to it, but I don't know if that's a mistake or if there's any ruffled feathers between the two of them.
Yeah, we've seen them together a lot here tonight. So a little bit of contact that we didn't quite catch on the screen. Maybe the 54 just slid up the track a little bit or got into the back of him unintentionally. But just in front of them, we have the number 57, Cameron Stone, now looking to the inside of that 83 of Brandon Hastings. Hastings trying to make something work up there in that third lane. Is it going to be able to do so there? And caution out on the track. Looks like a car around out of turn number 4.
Kevin Steele, I believe.
Jason Tyler.
A bunch of guys.
Looks like Tyler is where that, or Taylor is, sorry, is where that started.
And I saw Preston McRae in the spam ride, and I also saw League Admin having some issues. So we'll go on our blimp cam here, focused on the 12. I think, yep, you can see the 12 self-spin there on the seam. And he got loose, and Kevin Steele out.
Nowhere to go.
And a dented can of spam with a 53 getting in there as well.
Oh, and then almost a little contact there again with the 24 trying to get rolling. But back under caution here once again, lap 83 now. They just came into pit road not too long ago, so shouldn't expect anyone to be coming down here this time. Unless, you know, maybe if you're a little bit further back in the pack, come down, get some damage fixed or some more fuel in the tank just to be safe.
Yeah, we'll see if that's the case, but what we are going to do is just step aside here. As you said, Evan, I don't think any pit stops are going to happen. We're just going to go a brief side-by-side break, catch our breaths here, grab a drink, and we'll be right back with you, so stay with us. And we're back here on PTR TV after, I'm not sure what number caution is. I'm going to take a guess 5 or 6. We'll play the caution game later and try to find that out. But getting ready for the restart here. Everybody did stay out. At least most of the guys up front stayed out because we only had about a 15-lap run. So Van de Sant, remember, he got the lead off that last restart. Made the power move under Murray, and Murray gave him the spot. So now Van de Sant's going to be our control vehicle heading into the Geico restart zone, and we'll see how and when he chooses to accelerate. He's going to go early in the box, catch Murray sleeping there. Green flag's going to be back in the air, and Roethlisberger may have an opportunity to get side by side and pass Murray.
Murray was most definitely sleeping on that restart. Roethlisberger down to the inside through turns number 1. You see right on the door that number 28 machine. Pretty even down the back straightaway, both got pretty even runs, so no one really with the advantage. 28 nose ahead down into turns number 3 and 4. At 23, Roethlisberger down to the inside still, trying to make that second lane work in a pretty good run out of turn number 4. Not quite able to clear. 28 down the back straightaway. Pretty even still into turns number 3 and turns number 1 and 2. Really good battle going on here. Just behind them, the number 11 machine of Anderson trying to get to the outside of that 23 down the back straightaway here. Not quite able to make that happen, but trying to get in through 3 and 4. Trying to take a look to the inside. Now taking a look to the outside as he does have some pressure behind him from Ammon and that number 5. Some really good racing out here so far.
Ammon was, it looked like almost bump drafting him through 3 and 4 there. He was right to the back bumper. Wasn't able to sustain it. Just behind that was Mark Paget to the inside of RJ Root. RJ Root with a phenomenal recovery after what happened to him about, I don't know, 50, 60 laps ago, what have you. Back to the top 10. John Delaney in the top 10. Haven't seen that today, as again, he started last, whether intentional or not, I'm not quite sure, but I don't know if he turned a time in the pre-qualifying session. That may have been it, but either way, in the top 10, well, if he gets to the lead or even close to it, watch out, because we know what happens. When that happens is Mouchet
going around, or 46 of Mouchet going around.
And then Hixenbaugh got loose. And Kevin Steele getting loose. So a lot of stuff going on here to dissect, and let's do that. And Evan, do you think this is going to change Mouchet's opinion of the Speedway?
I think it's going to make him hate it even more.
Well,
just
he actually caused the wreck. He drove to the inside of Benefield there, and we'll get a second look at it from a slightly different perspective. But it appeared to me, I mean, that he was the one that he dove it on in there from a couple car lengths back, made that contact.
And made the really strong move down there into the corner. You know, like you were saying earlier on in the race, you really don't know what lane the guy's going to give you, if he's going to give you that whole second lane, or if he's going to try and push you down into the bottom. And, you know, Benefield, he didn't really do he didn't do anything wrong there. He was just making the corner how he normally would, and didn't give the 46 that second lane because he didn't really expect him to drive down in there. And just a little bit of contact from that 46 caused him to go around. Thankfully not too much damage on that 46 machine. Just went for a slide, and now going out back, looks like he's in about 31st right now, and been trying to work his way up through the field.
Yeah, indeed, that is the case. So while we have another caution here, perhaps we can grab somebody else and see how somebody else's race is going here. Perhaps Evan, maybe we can, if you want to have a quick chat with RJ Root, maybe we could talk about his recovery here today.
Yeah.
So I do have him, and Evan's caught up with him real quick.
All right, RJ, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right. Well, you start back in 16th. It's been kind of a little bit of an up and down day for you here so far in New Hampshire, running in 6th right now. So how's this race been for you? I know it's been a bit of a challenge out there for guys to be able to keep things straight and not be making much contact, but your car looks pretty clean so far. So what's been like out there for you so far?
We started off way too loose. Wasn't quite sure what the car was going to do after about 15 laps, and on the first run I was way too loose and self-spun, got into the grass on the backstretch, and we've been working our way back up to the front. We got the looseness fixed, and we got a rocket ship, hoping to get, you know, a top 3 at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, still going to be about 200 more laps to go in this race. Do you anticipate the track to be changing any here as it does rubber up, or do you think it'll be kind of staying a bit more consistent now since it
Uh,
has got a little bit of rubber in it now?
the track's got pretty much all the rubber that it has in it right now. So the track shouldn't change much, but it should really be the same throughout the rest of this race.
All right. Well, thanks for talking with us, RJ, and good luck the rest of this race.
Thank you.
Whoopsie daisy there, Evan.
Yeah, I think you moved the wrong person there, Corey, but I'm back up here in the booth. So that was RJ Root currently running in that 6th position in that number 8 machine and just trying to kind of continue working his way up through this field. Just about to the 1/3 mark of this race.
Yep, and lights out on our pace car. So, and we sometimes we play this little game with each other. Do you have any guesses how many cautions we're at this far? I'm gonna say 5.
So far,
I mean, you could say 5. We
we're
could
at
agree with
6.
each other.
My guess would be 5, but I do not want to guess the same thing as you, so I'm going to say 6.
Our
I definitely
race,
don't think it's 4.
Our race recap says 7.
7, dang it. I almost said 7.
Well, you didn't. So,
I was closer, so I guess I win on that.
So the prize on our contest is a virtual sticker and no virtual sticker for either of us. Perhaps we can redeem ourselves later on. But Van de Sant will be the control vehicle for this next time as well. And we saw Murray sleeping on that last time. Perhaps he has woken up and will be ready to get a better restart. And I'm going to give a fat no on that as the green flag's back in the air. And Murray will have to deal with Roethlisberger.
Yeah, once again, Murray not able to clear for that 2nd position. Now able to do so a little bit through the center 1 and 2, but coming back on the inside is that 23 machine in Roethlisberger. He's been really good and slid right up into the back behind that 28 machine. No contact there, but it's really close. Now Raymond Root looking to the outside, trying to take that 3rd position away. Restarting the 6th, now going for 3rd. Not quite able to get to the outside of that 23. The 11 machine of Anderson to his inside, trying to take 4th away. Not quite able to do so. Raymond Root running that 3rd, almost up into the 4th lane there, like he kind of has been a lot here tonight. And he's been one of the few guys able to make that work. He got a real good run there on the exit of turn number 2, able to clear the 11 of Anderson, trying to look to the inside. Still is Anderson, but he's got the 5 of Ammon coming behind him, looking to the outside of that 11 machine. Some really good, really side-by-side action here tonight.
Yeah, Ammon doing a great job again after his 2nd place last race at Atlanta. And, you know, some guys will call Atlanta a fluke. I don't know if the 00 of Damaris Ickenbottom wants me to say that out loud, but sometimes people will call Atlanta a fluke. But Corey LaJoy, sorry, in that same category, my friend. But when you come here to Loudon, definitely flukes are out of the water, essentially. I mean, sometimes you'll have a wacky pit strategy come into play, but for the most part, this is one of the higher skilled tracks that you will entail. So a good run here definitely can be a confidence builder throughout the course of the season. But interesting, Evan, to see up front that Van de Sant, now that he's up front, Murray, whether he's saving the tires or not, we're not quite sure, or perhaps having the first whiff of competitive dirty air on his nose is causing a little bit of a stack up for him. But actually, just as I say that, he had a huge surge through 3 and 4.
Yeah, really hard to say. He's just trying to save a little bit of tire, just can't quite get that car to handle like he would like it to. We'll kind of find out here in, you know, maybe another 30, 40 laps what's going on with that if we are able to see Murray get back out front like we've seen him be so dominant here tonight. Van de Sant out there leading the laps and leading the charge right now. And that number 96 Ford Mustang doing a pretty good job here tonight so far. Started back in 5th, now up to the lead, but we got a bit of a battle going on back further in the pack. Looks like Cameron Stone and Sammy Borey battling for the 11th position. Cameron Stone currently in possession. Borey trying to take that from him. Down into turns number 1 and 2 with the 64 Borey to the inside. Trying to make that 2nd lane work. He got a pretty good run through the center of the corner. A nose ahead down the back straightaway. Now dead even into turn number 3 and 4. Borey taking a pretty strong dive. into 3, not able to clear with Lucas Hoytsma in the 07 right behind them. Remember, he does have 1 extra set of tires compared to these other guys out here tonight. We'll have to see if that does come into play. Is that Dustin Hall in the number 1 machine?
Brandon Pierce to the inside of the front straightaway and into the fence. That'll cause our caution flag.
Looks like that might have started with Dustin Hall. It started just in front of Hall. He was not involved.
Oh, 20 got loose of Devin Medeiros there, and that just kind of stacked it up. We'll just kind of rewind that, and you can analyze a little bit of the other. 20 got loose down to the 38. Really, absolutely nothing that could be done differently there.
Yeah, Jason Baker in that 20. You know, not a whole lot of damage
Jason Baker,
to him.
I think must be a substitute driver. That's usually Devin Medeiros, but either way.
Yeah, Baker in the 20 here tonight, and just got a little bit loose, and very unfortunate for that 39 machine. Pierce with some pretty heavy damage on both sides of that car.
He's already behind the wall. He's and we know these next gen sometimes they're a little bit more sturdy and stiff in their construction. They could take some more damage and more impacts, which actually, funnily enough, some of the drivers in real life are starting to complain about that because as we do have some pit stops. These next-gen cars don't crumple as much and absorb impact, which has actually caused some of the drivers to say that the wrecks will hurt more. So whether we're due for some more next-gen changes or not, we'll find that out, I suppose. But Van de Sant will come down in the pits, and that's going to give Murray the lead, and this is going to be a huge strategy shuffle, Evan. This is... what are we at? Our stage is at 185. I mean, correct me on that because I'm always wrong, but
it is 185.
All right, so we'll still have 81 laps, which I'm trying to think of, and if that's within fuel loads here, I would imagine 85 laps is in a fuel stint here, or close enough to it that you could probably save. Everybody else is going to need to refuel, but given the trend of cautions, I think it's pretty likely we're going to have another one.
And Van de Sant, that did drop him back to 16th, but just in front of him, Mark Paget came down pit road and only took 2 tires there on that pit stop. So a little bit of a strategy call by that driver to get a little bit of more track position here. He's going to be restarting 15th, but first of those cars that did come down pit road. Looks like he actually will be 14th, as we did have a couple other guys in front of him come down pit road on the second time. But we'll have to see how the 2 tires does work against the 4 tires on Van de Sant, who'll be starting right behind him. So he has no buffer between him and those 4 tire guys. So definitely I'm sure he was hoping for a few more guys to take 2 tires like he did. But gonna have about 80 laps to go, just under 80 laps to go whenever we get back underway here tonight. And I don't see any way those top 12 or so can make it on fuel.
Yeah, but as I said, they're probably not going to have to. That's so they're kind of just using that to their benefit there. But we'll find that out. Sometimes, we get surprises. Typically, Evan, there's always in one of these races, and I know you haven't covered as many as I have, but even in the ones we've covered, less Martinsville, there's usually always a green flag pit stop once over the course of a race. At Loudon, maybe it'll come in stage 3. If you are the guys who stayed out, you're going to pray that it happens in stage 3. But I guess we'll find that out as lights out on the pace car, and we'll get them racked and stacked and ready to go for, I believe this is going to be the 8th time this evening.
Yeah, 8th time. It's maybe 9th, actually. 9th caution here tonight, so 8th restart of the night. Alex Murray in the 28th going to be on the front row. Once again, going to be the control car on this restart. 23 of Roethlisberger in that second position on his outside. And then just behind them in that second row, we have the number 11 machine of Robert Anderson and Kyle Ammon in the 5 in that 4th position for this restart. Coming through turns number 3 and 4 here, all doubled up, and there goes the pace car down onto pit lane, entering the Geico restart zone. And Murray going a little bit later in the box, still gets a pretty good jump over that 23. Anderson didn't quite get going there how he wanted to. He's not going to be to the inside of that 23 as they enter turns number 1 and 2 here. See some 3 wide a little bit further back in the pack. Top 3 all singled out here. First battle. That 6 John Delaney up there into the top 5, trying to get that 4th position now over Kyle Ammon through turns number 3 and 4 here. Almost a little bit of contact to the back bumper of that number 11 machine, able to keep it off of him out of turn number 4, and now Delaney clear for that 4th position, looking for 3rd.
Delaney is coming with a head of steam, and that is the last thing you want to see if you're a Alex Murray or perhaps a Van de Sant once he does get himself back to the front, because that 6 machine can 7 wins out of 20. Do the math, that's not quite 50%, but it's close enough to it. He's just been the absolute lights out this season. You don't want to see him up front. Cues of Jimmy Johnson back in the early 2010 era, but it still has a couple spots left to go. Dustin Hall, he is in that battle with Carl Dodson. Haven't said that name outside of the starting grid, but look at him in that top 10 with a head of steam in his Camaro, followed by Ryan Samuelson. So definitely some shake up there at the latter end of the top 10. We'll see if these guys can sustain it, as here comes Delaney for P2. He dove it on in there on the entry of 3 and he just took it, and Roethlisberger didn't really contest it too much.
Yeah, and Delaney, that's previous time by, he was about a 1/10.5 quicker than our leader, and that was even while he was passing the 23 for that 2nd position. So Delaney, obviously with a very quick car here tonight, going to be trying to get that lead from Murray here pretty quickly. Only about just over 0.3 of a second, that's gap between Murray and Delaney, so not a whole lot between them. Everyone getting kind of singled out here so far during this green flag run. Van de Sant, it was able to get up to the 8th position on those 4 tires. So definitely working out better for him than that was Mark Paget that only took 2 tires there. He's in 16th and getting passed by those drivers that did take 4 tires. So definitely not going to be seeing 2 tires be the right call for really anything tonight, unless it comes down to like a green-white checkered or something like that. But a lot of good racing out there.
Yeah, a lot of good racing, and it has held true yet another time. I mean, for as many people as don't like this track, I mean, we've seen a lot of side-by-side. We have seen some passing, as even if it's not as easy as or less frustrating as you'd want it to be. We have seen quite a bit of passing here this evening, so it just shows a testament to how good these guys are, and perhaps the NextGen car just works a little bit better here at the Magic Mile than other cars. As you can see on the left side of the screen, we have switched it over to lap times, so you can see exactly what these guys are running, and Delaney just under a 1/10 faster than Murray, one of the few cars in the 8s, or rather in the 32nd bracket last time by. You can see Van de Sant there in 6th, also in that 32nd bracket still, so you can tell who has the fresh tires and who has just the overall setup here tonight.
Yeah, Van de Sant back in that 6th position, about a 1.5 off the lead. Now trying to make a move to the inside of Kyle Ammon in the 5, trying to get back into the top 5 here. Through turns number 1 and 2, Van de Sant all the way down onto the flat there. Not quite where you want to be, but he's able to make it work and clear for the 5th position. Going to be now looking into the back bumper of that 11 machine of Anderson. Going to try and get 2 positions on this lap here. Another dive right down underneath the yellow line, even there through 3 and 4. Able to clear Anderson. Very strong move there, and I see him getting back up to the lead pretty quickly, and that's very impressive for, you don't really see a whole lot of passing. I know he does have about 30 lap pressure tires, but still impressive for him to get by that many cars that quickly. Yeah,
that just shows, like I said, his setup, his speed, and ultimately the fact that he just knows how to get around this place. Maybe fresh tires. If you have the right car, these fresh tires are a big deal versus just a moderate deal that we have seen thus far. But lap 115, still 70 laps to go on the stage. If this does magically go green to the end of the stage, we are going to have some interesting situations regarding fuel. We haven't got confirmation of fuel mileage from the drivers, but we're just estimating based on past experience. 85 or so will be a good guess of fuel load. Who was that on the inside? That was Carl Dodson with a huge wiggle there off of turn number 2, east of the inside of many guys. And Sammy Bury with a huge dive underneath Hoytsma. I don't know how that stuck. Bury probably gets the airtime award here today. I think we've had him on camera every time we have a pass going on. A lot of good racing at the end of the top 10.
Yeah, side by side, 2 rows deep there with the 2 of Carl Dodson. Getting really loose through 1 and 2. We saw that earlier on in this race as well. And just stacking up the inside of the lane there with the 64. The 2 of Dodson looking down to the bottom, just trying to get out of the way. He knows that right rear is going to be very upset as they enter turn number 3. Just going to be trying to hang on for dear life the best he can, but that's going to allow Lucas Hoytsma to gain a couple spots there over Dodson as well as Sammy Bury. Hoytsma now up into the 11th position. And just in front of that, Cameron Stone looking to the outside of Dustin Hall, able to get to his door there through turns number 1 and 2. Able to get a pretty decent run down the back straightaway, dead even. It looks like Hall is going to just kind of give the spot up down the back straightaway, allow Cameron Stone to get whatever line he would like entering turns number 3 and 4. And Cameron Stone's really been making that third lane work here, especially later on in this run. Got a pretty good run on the 83 of Brandon Hastings. And down into turns number 1 and 2, Cameron Stone to the inside, able to clear pretty easily over that 83.
Yes, he did, as Benefield, one of the drivers that we usually talk about, but haven't done as much here this evening. But we are just wanting to focus on what's going on up front right now, because Delaney is eating into that lead, running roughly half a tenth to a tenth of a second faster every time round, and now he's within about 3/10 of a second. Last time by about a half-tenth second as faster as well. But having these little half-tenth, is that fast enough to actually make a pass? I mean, do you need to be 1-2 tenths faster, or do you think he could get by just running just a tick faster every time by?
I think Delaney will be able to get by him here eventually. It's going to take a few laps, and I don't think he has enough time to get by Murray and get to the lead here before Van de Sant does get by him in that third position, consistently running 1-2, sometimes about 3/10 quicker than these 2 guys in front of him. Remember, Van de Sant does have those fresher tires than anyone else out there on the track, and we have a caution here, which might be what some of these guys were needing to make it to the end of this stage on fuel.
Jason
like
Baker in the 20
involved.
Yeah, I'll go.
Looks like that may have started with him.
I'll try to queue up the replay here if I can. I may have just broke the replay, so oh, there we go, I unbroke it. See, queued up here on the front straightaway, and alright, I think I broke it. Oh, there it goes. I don't know what's going on with it, but we'll take that again. Coming off of 4, behind the 65 of Sean O'Brien Jr. And to the inside, Preston McRae on that outside, and maybe he just got a little bit loose there, Evan, with on the seam there, perhaps, you think?
Yeah, we're seeing quite a bit of that tonight. You know, drivers kind of get their right rear or the right sides up on the 12 degrees of banking while the left sides are on the flat. And that just really de-wedges that car and it just makes it super loose. So we'll have to see if these guys can kind of get that figured out a little bit. And, you know, we've seen it happen a few times with a few different guys here tonight. So definitely going to be wanting to get that fixed where they aren't doing that anymore. But that's going to hand the lead back to Van de Sant. Van de Sant, as we did have the previous leaders come down pit lane.
We are, this race is taking a little bit longer, Evan, than I think we thought it was going to. We're hop 123 and we're about an hour and a half in. So I think for a Loudon race, we're a little bit behind the averages, but we'll see if it does clean up in the second half. But through all of this, Evan, we still have 32 guys on the lead lap. And only 5 guys, well, 3 guys off the lead lap with heavy damage, but still turning laps, and 2 guys out. So through all of this, maybe it's a credit to the NextGen car. We're just not seeing any attrition, even though we've had probably double-digit cautions at this point.
Yeah, I definitely think we're up to, you know, probably about 10, 11 cautions, but like you were saying, we're seeing a lot of cautions, but not a whole lot of damage to these cars. A lot of them are being single car incidents, someone just spins around, or if there is contact, it's not enough to, you know, put someone behind the wall for a couple of laps. So there's no one out there that's just like, you know, the 1, 2, 3, 4 laps down like you would usually see at a race. The first car that is any laps down is 15 laps down, and that's the 26 of Bryson Alexander, but he's back in 33rd. So still 32 cars out there on the lead lap. We just haven't had long enough green flag runs for lap traffic to come into play or anything like that. And just without the attrition, just hasn't been a whole lot of lap down cars or anything of the sorts. But yeah, going to be about, I believe, 60 laps to go in this stage and about 180 or so in the race, but lights are out on that pace car. Van de Sant going to be the leader, and the control car, and that number 96 machine, Roman Root, making his first appearance on the front row. Going to be restarting on the outside lane in the second position. Cameron Stone up there in the third, Sammy Borey in fourth, and Ralph Hutchison rounding out that top 5.
Yeah, we'll see what does happen here as again, we are having a little bit of weather change here. It looks like the sun is behind a much bigger cloud, which has lowered the track temp. We started at about 117, track temp down to 100. So sometimes with more grip comes more cautions, because guys will have a little bit more feeling of Superman. But 3 and 4 here does appear to be in a full sunshine, so that will elevate that temperature just a little bit. But Van de Sant has done a great job on the restarts thus far and his control of it, and we'll see if anything changes this time round. Does not appear as such. Stone on that inside third position sleeping, much not something you see too often. That gives Van de Sant that 0.4 half-second lead essentially right off the get-go here, and the battle ends up being for second.
Yeah, Van de Sant got a really good restart there, and no one else behind him did, but he was able to pull away about a half-second over the second place car, who is currently still Raymond Root out there in the third lane, able to make that work. Cameron Stone to his outside, and behind them, side by side with Sammy Borey and Ralph Hutchison. So a couple battles going on there. You can see them on the screen now. Raymond Root able to clear the Cameron Stone.
Hutchison real loose
through 1 and 2, able to hang on to it. Lost a lot of momentum there, and that allowed Borey to clear for the 4th position. Looks like that's going to push Hutchison back into the clutches of Lucas Hoytsma. Almost a little bit of contact there through 3 and 4, but everyone's able to keep it going so far.
Yeah, just kind of scrolling through the remainder of the field, and again, it just takes quite a long time here at Loudon to get everybody situated in single file. Everyone still jousting about and trying to see what they can do. And as we've seen, single side by side, very easy to do here, but completing the pass very difficult. That's kind of what causes these wrecks. Is 11 machine, the tide ride there, took a huge dive underneath Mouchet and McRae, able to do that. Usually you don't see a 3-wide dive bomb work here at Loudon, but that time it certainly did. Is just a little bit further ahead. 23 of Zach Roethlisberger will pass Lucas Hoytsma. Delaney trying to follow suit in the 6th machine. Delaney in the 8th spot now, as again we're still experiencing some of the fresh tires working their way up through the field.
Yeah, we got some split strategies out there. The top 5 have about 25 lap-old tires, or the top 4, sorry. And then the 5th place car, Alex Murray, is the first one on fresh tires. About 20 laps fresher than everyone else out there. And he is definitely making that apparent. Now down to the inside of that 64 machine of Sammy Borey for that 4th position. And he's just, he's able to pass these guys so easily. Just having those 4 fresh tires just makes it where he can carry so much more speed through the center of the corner, and he has that pass easily made by the time they exit turn 4, and already looking to the inside of Cameron Stone down the front straightaway, got into the door of that car, now down into turn number 1. Cameron Stone just kind of giving him the lane, letting him go by. Doesn't want to fight him too much. It costs himself any time. There's really nothing you can do to fight off those 4 fresh tires. But Alex Murray now up to 3rd, and you know, that's where Van de Sant, you know, he pitted a little bit too early, but if that previous caution, or if that previous race, run did go green, Van de Sant would have been in a very good situation, but just not working out quite how he wanted to. Alex Murray going to be in a prime position to win this stage.
Yes, he is, because a half second and 50 laps with fresher tires, I mean, does not take a rocket scientist to put those odds into play, especially as he gets by RJ Root with minimal issue there. Root did seem to have a little issue there off of 2 and had to gather it back up, but was able to do so successfully. Stone closing in from the 4th spot in that Sterling Marlin-esque era 57 Mustang, and here comes Roethlisberger to his inside. We'll see if that's a battle or if Stone just lets him go. Looks like that will be a battle, and Delaney in the 6th, currently running in 6th, looking to change that and get himself into the top 5 as they're side by side just behind that. And here comes Roethlisberger. So again, a track that you can't pass that, certainly you can race side by side at here this evening.
Yeah, Roethlisberger and Delaney both on those fresher tires as well. Raymond Root on the older tires. Cameron Stone on the older tires. Root really loose there at turn number 4. It's allowing Delaney to get to his inside through 1 and 2 here, and going to allow him to clear pretty easily. But a lot of different strategies playing out here tonight, and it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the stage does end up going.
Yeah, if you are Van de Sant, I think you're going to have some slight regrets here, at least from a stage victory, because, you know, and then, but this is something that I think even we have experienced this in our races, not so much recently, but in our past when we were actually good. But when you are of similar pace to somebody, it's usually good, at least for the majority of the race, to stay on the same strategy as them. And then maybe at the very end, if you know that you don't have any chance in the world, then go off strategy. Kind of going off strategy as a very competitive car super early in the race. That's a high risk, low reward situation, I think, this early in the race, if I'm putting my crew chief hat on.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be kind of curious to see how that does end up playing out. It's going to be a lot of different strategies, and, you know, this early on, it's kind of like you're saying, a little surprising to have this many strategies going on this early on. We're not even to halfway throughout the race, and a lot of different things happening here tonight at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Looking at the 96, second place, Van de Sant in 2nd, and behind them got a battle going on, Kyle Ammon and Raymond Root. That is for the 6th position, it looks like. Ammon taking over the 6th place over Root, who is dropping back. Looks like Ammon is also on those fresher tires, so just really not working out for those guys on the older tires.
Oh,
caution out here. Looks like Root involved or having another issue.
Yep, there he is. He did slow. We'll try to cue it back up on replay. That'll be the 2nd time this evening that Root has had issues, and it was a self-spin.
Just loose out of turn number 2. Lost the grip in that right rear like we've seen so many times here tonight. He's trying to make up as much speed as he can, and just got a little too happy with the throttle there and looping it out of turn number 2. Gonna be curious to see if anyone does decide to come down pit road here. I would assume most of the guys are going to be staying out, but, you know, maybe those people who pitted or who stayed out under the previous caution might come down and go ahead and get 4 fresh tires on there again. Just do something different than those guys in front of you, because if you follow the leader, you're gonna follow the leader. So gotta try something.
Yeah, you do indeed. And a difficult position for Van de Sant, because, you know, he has the older tires and he wants to stay on the same. He wants to stay within proximity to Murray, but he knows he's going to have that degradation in play, and he's not going to have the pace to hang with him. So we'll see. Perhaps we can have a quick chat with him, because we've had some time to do so, given all the cautions this evening. All right, Alex, Corey in the booth, you got us?
I gotcha.
All right, you have a rocket ship here today. You're probably one of the only guys that can compete with Murray, at least till Delaney gets up to you guys. But you're off strategy right now. You concerned about that? And what was the mindset on kind of going opposite to what Murray did?
Yeah, well, I mean, he was behind me, I think, so it was him going opposite to me. But yeah, we just figured, you know, the fuel window had just opened that lap. From the first stage, we thought that maybe there's a chance we could get like a really long run and it could go to the end, and so we just wanted to be safe there. Kind of regretting that now, of course, with that they got that caution. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully, it'll like equalize here, and yeah.
Yeah, I know passing here at Loudon is not something that's super easy, but a lot of side-by-side, and we've seen you do a pretty good job of that. Is that car driving pretty good in traffic as well as it is on clean air?
Yeah, it's not bad. I've been able to stay up close to a couple people. Obviously, you always want the clean air. It is a bit more important than I expected. I mean, I saw how I was able to pull away from Alex earlier. So, yeah, just want to see how it goes and get back around him here.
All right, we'll have our eye on you, man, and good luck for the remainder.
Thank you.
Yeah, and he did call me out on that because I did have it backwards. You can't go opposite of somebody on strategy when you are the leader, so whoops-a-daisy.
Yeah, guys behind him just wanted to try something different and worked out for him, so we'll have to see the remainder of this stage if Van de Sant is able to stay up there.
Evan, it's kind of something that happens a lot. You see on road courses and short tracks or at the very end of races where races that have a lot of cautions more specifically, where whatever you do as the leader tends to be the wrong decision. Everyone's going to stay out or everyone is going to pit, and you're essentially just thrown to the wolves, particularly at races with a lot of cautions like this. And I think he may not get the stage. He's not going to get the stage win. He's probably going to fall back at least 3 or 4 more spots, but he has that fast enough car to recoup that in stage 3 for sure.
Yeah, stage 3 going to be about 120 laps here tonight, so definitely plenty of time for him to get back up there through the field, as he's not going to drop too far back here. He was running pretty solid lap times in second during the end of that last run, so should be able to stay up there in the top 5, top 10, so absolutely we'll still have enough time to get back up there to the lead. But Alex Murray and Van de Sant on the front row here through turns number 3 and 4, getting ready for that pace car to pull down on to pit lane. Alex Murray, the control car, once they get to the Geico restart zone, there goes the pace car, and we are in that restart zone. Murray going to fire off, get a really good jump over the 96 as well as the 23, and coming down the front straightaway now down into turns number 1 and 2. 96 run up the hill a little bit there through 1 and 2. Delaney right on his back bumper, trying to make a move if he can. The 23 of Roethlisberger is going to be able to make that bottom lane work for him now. Now with Delaney behind him, just no one's really want to be behind that 96 on those older tires here on this restart. He's going to kind of get everyone a little bit bottled up here, almost a little bit of contact with the 11 of Anderson to Ammon. But that's going to allow Delaney to get through to the 3rd position. Van de Sant back to 4th now with pressure from Kyle Ammon as well as the 11 of Anderson behind them. So a lot of really close racing here on this restart, and everyone's just, almost once again a little bit of contact between Anderson and Ammon, so really close for those guys on multiple occasions on this restart alone. And Kyle Ammon now right on the back bumper of that 96 machine out of turn number 4.
Yeah, indeed, as Amanda said, trying to see where he can hang on. Can he keep on and get any stage points and try to recoup that? But does have that conga line of fresher tires behind him, and be the first time Roethlisberger has been in the 2nd spot, and he does have the comparable tires to the leader, so we'll see if he has enough pace to hang as such. As I thought we had something going on here. My overlays were giving me some tidbits of information, and I think it's the 2-3 wide racing going on in the mid-20s right now, as we do have some stuff going on. Ralph Hutchison back there in the Hornets nest trying to get himself back to the front after the myriad of issues he's had over the course of the evening. Hoytsma going 3 wide as well, and just trying to make these spots up as 30 40 laps remaining in stage 2 and closing in on the halfway point. Of course, on the odd number, I think the halfway point here is 151 because Loudon has to be weird like that. But we're closing in on halfway here and still trying to get that nice long run and just turn some laps and click them off here.
Yeah, 301 laps here tonight at Loudon, so just about to the halfway point. And you know, so far this run does kind of have a bit of a green flag feel to it so far. Everyone's kind of getting single file and racing with a little bit more, I wouldn't say respect here, but just a little bit more like caution here on this stage. And we're already about 12, 13 cautions into this race. People, you know, we haven't really talked about the incident limit a whole lot here tonight. We've mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but with having this many cautions, you're going to have people that are bound to get up there pretty high in the incidents. And you know, you get 4 incidents for every time you have major contact with another car, and if you get 15 total incidents, you will be parked for the remainder of the event. So a few of those guys have been involved in a few incidents. You know, thinking of Raymond Root, possibly, who's been involved in a couple incidents. Definitely don't want to be in any more, because very likely could end up getting you parked.
Yeah, because even a self-spin, depending how far around you do go, a self-spin could equate to a 2x loss of control, and you know, combine a 2x to a couple 4x incident points, and that will very much do it. And maybe on lap 200, Evan, we'll do our caution update and figure out our guessing game there and see if we can get ourselves a virtual sticker sponsored by ourselves. Nice, phenomenal prize there, high budget.
I definitely want to win that.
Virtual sticker. I mean, I'm pretty sure they exist. I mean, a virtual sticker, isn't that basically like an NFT these days, basically? So,
I'm not entirely sure what an NFT is, but I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
All right, so I think we have a little bit of time here, and Andre would usually be going on with me about this. So an NFT, Evan, so think of like a picture of William Byron's car. So, you know what a Bitcoin is, right?
Yeah.
You know, so a Bitcoin is through the blockchain, so there's literal digital proof that that specific Bitcoin belongs to you, like it's your, and there's a whole chain of commands that proves it's yours. So basically that picture of William Byron, it's digitally assigned with digital proof that that specific individual picture is yours. If I had a picture on the screen of William Byron's car, the same exact picture, it would not be the same one as yours, because yours is an individualized digital image. So basically it's you're paying for a picture that is exactly yours, but this picture could be a file, it could be a virtual diecast, it could be a microtransaction in a video game. It's basically...
Is there anything stopping someone from screenshotting it?
Yes, because it's blockchain technology. So basically the blockchain would prove through the chain of digital, you know, digital paper trail, if that makes sense, that that is yours. So then if you sold it, you would sell it, and all of that digital transaction, you know, this was mine, now it's yours, it would carry over. As the 70 of Michael Christopher is plowing his way through Carl Dodson there.
Yeah, able to get clear for that spot. Thought there's going to be a little bit of contact there. It didn't look like they touched any, but it was very close to that 2 machine. That was for the 12th position. Christopher was taking that. Dodson now back in 13th. And Christopher got a really good run there on a turn number 2. Going to get down, trying to get to the inside of that number 7 of Wayne Grassi in the 11th position. But yeah, thanks for explaining what an NFT to me.
Yeah, the biggest. So this will hone it for you. I mean, there was basically someone on the forums who said that iRacing should get into it. Like, what if Max Verstappen's exact Formula 1 car on iRacing that he bought, his exact Formula 1 car, he bought one on iRacing for $11.95. That's the one that's on his account. He could sell that car to you, and then you would have his exact digital Formula 1 car with all of his stats that are tied to it, and it would just become yours. That is basically what an NFT is. And it's useless. Like, it's useless.
I was going to say, yeah, that's useless, but hey.
I don't know how we got onto that, but Yeah, I mean, if we were talking about stuff that's useless, it means nothing. I guess that's probably what it was. And we do have someone in our YouTube chat. Let's go, Murray. Well, your wish is at least granted for the portion of this race that we're in right now, because he is winning quite handily by about 0.8 of a second. We thought that Roethlisberger was going to be able to post some kind of charge, but has not been able to do so. Delaney still stuck behind Roethlisberger in that second position, so rather in that third position, but I do expect him to make some headway. And Kyle Ammon still having that great run, top 5 effort here. In that number 5 ride, new scheme, kind of that orange-black scheme. I quite fancy that scheme. I remember a lot of my success on the iRacing service in prior leagues came in a orange and black car painted by somebody who I know quite well.
And that person sometimes was me.
Yeah, and you need to start painting more, but that means you have to start getting into iRacing more outside of broadcasting, which I think we both need to start doing that, to be honest. Turning some virtual laps here as the 63 of Bryson Hicksonbaugh to the inside of Adam. Well, I
think Brandon Hastings in that car. I'm guessing Benefiel is out for this race, and Hastings driving the car.
I know I've said Benefiel about 5 times this evening, so, I mean, it's force of habit, but Brandon Hastings acting as substitute this evening. Just got past Dustin Hall, who, for a guy who's basically been in the top 10 all race 7, I think for as much of an up and down day as you can have within the top 10, I think Dustin Hall has had it this evening, because he's been in the top 5, he's going back to 10th, he's clawed his way back up, something happened, he lost a lot of track position, fell back to 10th, but he really hasn't fallen too far back here this evening.
Yeah, I feel like he's always been up there in the top 10, even when he has been having his issues, but running around there in the 7th position now, got around that 07 of Hoytsma and Hastings.
Delaney up to 2nd underneath Roethlisberger.
And caution out on the track now.
Now,
as Delaney.
Is it going to sustain? We'll see. RJ Root again.
That may be an ending one for him here tonight. I'm not sure how many incidents he does have. Just getting pretty close.
Self-spin.
Once again, Root just having some major issues.
Except that time he was not by himself. He did. Somebody did get a little bit of residual contact from that.
Yeah, it's just those drivers getting their left sides down on the flat. Just de-wedges the car and takes all the handling out of it. So very unfortunate for Root in that number 8 machine. He didn't get too much damage, but did have a little bit of contact. I'm trying to see who that was with. Actually, I'm not sure if anyone hit him. It was very close, but I don't see any damage on that car, so a really lucky break for him. But back there in the 31st once again, and I mean, you talk about an up and down day.
Yeah, I mean, the ups, yeah, he managed to get himself into the top 10. He talked about in his interview that he started off too loose, and they freed it up enough to be fast.
Might still be too loose.
Yeah, they freed it up enough to be fast, but not enough to have comfort. But we'll see here. I think we'll, with our stage, I'm just trying to time how I want to produce this broadcast here. Of course, I don't have a tech trailer here. I'm got to think on the fly. I think we'll do a quick interview, Evan, if you are up for said task.
Absolutely. Who would you like me to talk with,
we've grabbed Zach Roethlisberger, newcomer to the league and having his great run, and Evan's caught up with him.
All right, Zach, you get a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, it's your first time out in this league this season, at least that we've been covering it, and have a pretty good race so far, up there consistently in the top 10. Fell back a little bit during pit strategy and pit cycles and such, but up there running the third now. Do you think you have what it takes to go out there and win this stage?
I'm not sure about the stage. I think the 6 is probably at the same tire wear, if not better than myself, and then I'm not sure on the 28. So we'll give him a run for our money, though. Hopefully we got about 18 laps here before we go green, so it'll be kind of a little bit of a sprint. So I think this restart's going to be key to managing it to see who can pull it off.
Yeah, and we've seen a few split pit strategies here tonight, and a few guys trying to stay on older tires, and it hasn't really been able to work too well for a lot of drivers out there. So yeah, I know it's a limited set of tires in this race, so how are you going about managing it so far throughout this race?
Yeah, the goal was kind of just to use one set per stage and then have 2 sets for the last stage. So it's crazy how fast or how much tire wear matters. I mean, I think the 96, when he put tires on, I think he had we had 15 laps on him and he just blistered through the field, and it was kind of eye-opening to see how much tires really do matter. So hopefully we'll have 2 sets here by for the last stage, and we'll see what it comes down to.
All right, well, thanks for talking with us. We'll go ahead and let you get back to planning how you're going to win this stage, and good luck in the remainder of this event.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So Zach pretty confident in that car, but it's just going to be a matter of what those guys in front of him do end up being able to make happen here, and what their tire wear ends up being like. Going to have just over 20 laps to go in the second stage here tonight, and then we'll just be on to that final event, those final 120 laps.
Yep, and what I will be interested in seeing, Evan, is we talked earlier about how the restart zone being such a, it's a finite area and it's only maybe a couple 100 feet at most. You'd expect there to be a lot easier time with these guys hanging on to the, from the outside, but it hasn't been the case. There's been huge jumps from the inside lane from the leader. Be interesting to see if Delaney, who's probably the fastest guy in the league week to week, if he's going to be able to hang on.
Yeah, definitely been seeing a lot of different events taking place here tonight, but going through turns number 3 and 4, going to be getting ready for that pace car to pull down onto pit lane. Alex Murray once again the control car pole setter here tonight. Jonathan Delaney started back in 37th, now up there on the front row, and there goes the leader. Alex Murray waited really late in the box there. It's going to allow the 23 machine to get down pretty easily for that second position. Jonathan Delaney was not able to get a pretty good jump, a good jump there at all, and able to get a pretty good 1 and 2 there, however, and was able to clear the 23, so really good corners there for that number 6 machine. Cleared for a second, now setting his sights on the back bumper, that 8, or the 28.
Yeah, maybe the next interview session we can ask, we already have a wreck on the back straightaway, or rather in 3 and 4.
Green, I believe that was the 70?
20 of Baker.
20.
Quickly, we'll try to see what happened on the replay if we can, without taking up too much time. 20 to the inside on the flat, got loose up into the 33 machine of Tracy, but because of algorithms and how iRacing throws cautions, it did not constitute one because they basically stayed straight.
Justin Hall had a few issues there down the back straightaway, dropped a few spots. And a lot of cars getting really loose here out of the corners now. Everyone's on a bit older tires than they would like here, but Dustin Hall fell back, so it looks like he's been about 15th, 16th right now. Ralph Hutchison has taken his car behind the wall. Not entirely sure if that was due to damage, or he may have reached that incident limit and got parked for the remainder of this event. But very unfortunate night for him. We seem to have a lot of good runs, but just hasn't been able to really put one together recently. But Dustin Hall, almost a little bit of contact there with the 12.
Carl Dodson, a huge wiggle there off of 4 down the front straightaways. They're still 2-3 wide there, just on the cusp of the top 10. And remember, that's where the stage points are. Van de Sande in 10th now, so he's not even going to get stage points, as the 2 of Carl Dodson hit a banana peel or something there off a 2. Stupid sideways there, managed to collect it, but he's going to have a gaggle of cars behind him.
Yeah, gaggle indeed. Saw that 24 machine down on the apron a little bit there, out of turn number 4, trying to make a pass on that driver in front of him. But 57 Cameron Stone looking to the inside of this 2 of Dodson through turns number 1 and 2 here. And Dodson on the outside lane, not quite able to get a good enough run to clear the 57. Just behind them, Dustin Hall in 14th, trying to clear the 81 machine of Ryan Samuelson, just not quite able to do so through 3 and 4, just still side by side. Hall able to get a pretty good run out of 4, and that's really messed up Stone there, and that hurt Hall. Now the 3 wide, and almost able to contact once again to the back mark. That 57 Cameron Stone just does not quite have the speed in the center of the corner like this number 1 machine is needing. Keeps getting him checked up, as Dustin Hall losing a couple spots, but that 24 Kevin Steele had a really good corner there. Looks like he's up to about 13th now.
Yeah, good run by the 24. He's on the cusp of getting into the stage. He did pit, Evan, on that last caution, so he has freshies compared to the rest of these guys. So is it enough to get into the top 10 and get a stage point? TBD on that, as we're 15 laps away from such occurrence. He's going to take it all the way down to the flat there, as Dodson will kind of slightly tap the turn to a barrier down the back straightaway, but just kind of closing in on stuff in the top 10. Not really too much going on. These guys have strung themselves out, but the battle as the 24 of Steel will get himself up into 12. Van de Sande, he is just dropping like a rock here. Now out of the top 10, he's going to be the next one on the chopping block for the 24.
Yeah, Van de Sande is on some of the oldest tires out there. Him and Cameron Stone, as well as Mark Paget out there on 67 lap old tires. So going to be hanging on for dear life here. Going to be Van de Sande going to be falling back to the 12th position here shortly, as Kevin Steele on his 4 fresh tires is catching up to him. Just coming to just about 10 laps to go here in the remainder of this event, or in the remainder of this stage. Delaney about a second and a half, or Murray about a second and a half lead over Delaney. Kevin Steele did get into that 11th position now, so Van de Sande back in another spot, back to the 12th. Definitely not what he's been needing to have happen here tonight, but gonna hopefully be seeing him rally in this last stage and get back up there in contention.
Yeah, we'll see what does happen, and you know exactly how many tires are left. He talked when we talked to Roethlisberger. You basically want to have 2 or 3 sets for the third stage to have it in the bank, depending on when that very timely caution may or may not fly. You want to be able to get that set of tires. So for a guy like Kevin Steele, who just got into the top 10 and he's not done yet. He's going underneath Wayne Grassy right now. For a guy like Kevin Steele, he may not have that set of tires in the bank because he put it on for this last segment of stage 2. But depending on how the cautions fly, may or may not come into fruition. As here comes Lucas Hoytsma. Is he going underneath John Delaney here? Unsurprising move.
Hoytsma does have a little bit fresher tires than Delaney. Not quite the freshest of those drivers. Bryson Hixenbaugh up there to the second spot. We had missed that covering those other battles, but Hixenbaugh up to the second position. About a half second off of our leader of Alex Murray, coming to 10 laps to go in this stage. Hixenbaugh does have about 40 lap fresher tires on that car, so that's greatly helping his speed out here. He's almost a full second quicker per lap. We can see that battle for the lead that's going to be going on here in just a moment. It's not going to be too much of a battle though. Hixenbaugh with those fresher tires is going to be able to make a pretty easy move here. You can see just how much faster he is, how much better of a run he is able to get and easily clear Alex Murray. Just let him go, not going to put up a fight at all. So Hixenbaugh now in a pretty good spot to win this stage. Lucas Hoytsma back there in third, going to be trying to get by Alex Murray in the remaining 10 laps of this stage.
Yeah, precisely that, Evan. We were just watching all the side-by-side battles, and all of a sudden we just see Hixenbaugh just plow through the field, and he is on the same tire strategy as Kevin Steele, who we followed as he was going through the gaggle there. So the same point does come into effect for Hixenbaugh. How many sets of tires does he have left? And again, if the cautions fly in a certain manner, does he have enough tires to put them on when it would be advantageous to do so? That's what we don't know, but obviously we'll find out in due course of the next 140 or so laps. But Delaney back to the 4th spot. Michael Christopher in the top 5, Evan. He's had his issues tonight, but I guess essentially who hasn't had their issues tonight?
Yeah, with all these split strategies, we've got a lot of different stuff going on here. And I do want to point out, so Hixenbaugh, he restarted in 21st on that last restart, and it took him about 13 laps to go from 21st to 1st with 40 lap pressure tires. So we'll have to see if that does end up coming to play later on tonight, and who can have the precious tires for the final run of this event. Coming about 7 laps to go in this stage. The end of stage 2, Bryson Hixenbaugh looking to be in a pretty good position. Got about just over a 2-second lead back to second place Alex Murray. And just behind him, we have the number 07 Hoytsma, Delaney, Christopher, Kyle Steele up there, or sorry, Kevin Steele, up there in the 5th position. Now up into 4th, able to get by that 70 machine pretty quickly. I believe Steele does have the freshest tires.
Caution on the speedway.
Caution on the speedway. That I don't know if that's going to end the stage or not. I think it must.
Let me just double check. Maybe I typed stuff in wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if I did. Nope, 185 was the stage, so this is early, but I would imagine that they would call
I think we would
this.
be able to get back going the green with like one leg on the stage if they wanted to, but I kind of think they're just going to end it here. We'll check and see. Try and get some confirmation on that.
I'm trying to see what I can find here about a cause of caution. I think I may have a lead in the realm of Alex Van de Sant. He was underneath Wayne Grassy and he got loose. Kind of a little shameless spin there down into the infield road course area on the back straightaway. But that seems to be our yellow.
Very unfortunate turn of events there, and see some guys coming down pit road here, so I would assume this is going to go ahead and be actually with some guys staying out, this may not end up being that stage caution. We'll have to see here.
Yeah, Evan, if you want to go up to one of the rooms within admin, whether it be Damaris or Kevin Steele, we can maybe get that confirmation.
Yeah, let me take a look here and see.
And Evan is on the run to get that call if we are going to race to the stage, or if they will call the stage right now, with the stage being on lap 185. Perhaps if it went green with 2 to go, then he's back.
We having a 1 or 2 lap shootout here, so this will not be the end of the stage, so that's why everyone did stay out there. We did have a few guys come down pit road. You know, if you're outside the top 15, top 20 and not going to get stage points, go ahead and come down, get your tires now, and then stay out at the end of the stage when everyone else does come down pit road. So a little bit of a mixed ball out there, but it's going to be a fun restart here. You know, Hicksonbaugh, Hoytsma, Kevin Steele all out there with fresher tires than Alex Murray, so we should be able to see Hicksonbaugh hanging on to that lead pretty easily, and we'll have to see if that second, third, and fourth place cars couldn't get by Alex Murray and try and move forward just a little bit here.
Yeah, I think fun is very subjective to who you're actually talking about. For your guys up, probably the guys, so it looks like Roethlisberger was the first to pit from 15th. So if you're him, this restart might be fun. For those guys, probably like 9th on back, who are probably in the biggest risk of getting past, I wouldn't think this restart's going to be too fun for them.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And Hicksonbaugh taking the outside here for this restart. I haven't seen anyone do that tonight. So I don't know if maybe he's thinking with Alex Murray being on the older tires, so he won't be able to make that inside lane work, and just kind of the defensive line here will be Hicksonbaugh taking the outside, not having to worry about too much else. But the lights are out on the pace car. We're doubled up here with Hicksonbaugh in the 63 machine on the outside lane, going to be the control car. Alex Murray going to be rolling off in second for this restart on the inside lane. And then Kevin Steele in fourth on the outside. And Lucas Hoytsma on the inside are going to be in third in that 07 machine. And then last car in the top 5, Michael Christopher. And to his outside, we'll have Jason Baker in that 20 machine. But coming through turns number 3 and 4 here, going to have, looks like a 2-lap dash to the end of the stage. And we'll have to see Hicksonbaugh what he'll be able to do, if he'll be able to hang on to this stage win. Coming through turn number 4 now, and pace car pulling down to the inside lane. Gonna be waiting until we get to that Geico restart zone. We are in it, and Hicksonbaugh really good jump over the entire field. Gonna have about 3-4 car lengths here. By the time they get down into turn 1, gonna be 3 wide with the 07 Lucas Hoytsma down to the inside through turns number 1 and 2. Not quite able to make it stick. Alex Murray in the middle there. 24 Kevin Steele looking to his outside, almost able to contact there. Now looking to the inside, down the back straightaway into turns number 3 and 4. Now Kevin Steele once again looking to the left rear of that 28 of Alex Murray. Kevin Steele trying to get the second position. And caution out on the track once again. That will definitely be ending this stage. We'll have to see if Kevin Steele did get that second position. But Bryson Hicksonbaugh is going to be winning the second stage.
Yeah, trying to Chad Sanner. You see him in the turn 3 and 4 grass. So replay queued up here on screen, and some smoke ahead of him. And then he looped it. Maybe we can get an onboard of him and see what...
Yeah, looks like there's a car spinning in front of him. Looks like that was Raymond Root going around again.
No way.
Yeah, he had a little bit of... Wait, did he have some contact from that 83? It looks like he did have a little bit of contact from behind, so that time he had some help going around.
All right, another replay queued up from the chopper cam, and it abuts the 8. And you can see the 83, 23 of Ralphos.
Maybe no contact.
He was loose, but it didn't look like that is what did it. I'm going to try and queue up a... it's very hard to do so right now, but I'm going to try to queue up an onboard from the 83's perspective.
Couldn't quite tell if there was contact or not. I'm hoping there wasn't. But we'll have to see if we can get an onboard here going.
There we go. See here down the back straightaway on PTR TV replay yet again.
No, I'd say no contact.
Yeah.
They just got loose.
I would agree.
Yeah, I don't know if he just drove into the corner a little bit too hard, and we saw once again his left sides were on the flat there. And he was saying earlier on he just had the car a little bit too loose, and just continues to be the issue for that car and that driver. But yeah, there's no help there from the 83. Originally I thought there was, but yeah, no contact there, just that 8 getting loose. But Jason Baker did stay out and is going to be the leader. He did come to pit lane about 26 laps ago, so he's going to be having the oldest tires of anyone else out there. Got a few other guys, looks like 2nd through 16th did pit under that previous caution and have about 6 laps on their tires. That's going to be Roethlisberger in 2nd, Delaney 3rd, Taylor in 4th, and Hastings in 5th. And then our stage 2 winner, Bryson Hicksonbaugh, is going to be winding up in the 17th.
Yes, indeed. So we'll a little bit of shake-up of things here due to the strategy calls, and be interesting to see how these guys do manage to work their ways back to the positions that they were in before, especially Murray back there in 18th position. Be interesting to see how easily he can work through the traffic here. So I should get one to go this time by, I do believe. And yes, we do. So right around lap 200, we'll kind of do our check-in on our caution count. Last time we were at 7. I think that was roughly at lap like 80 or so for the stage. I'm going to take a gander that we are much higher than that, but I'll fine-tune my guess. I have 12 laps to come up with that for, again, a virtual sticker, Evan. That's what queued up that whole NFT conversation, a virtual sticker.
Yeah, that was it.
It'd be an individual virtual sticker that blockchain says is yours. You can't prove it. It wouldn't be mine. You could send me the screenshot, you could send me the file, but it would be yours. That virtual sticker.
Mine.
Evan's gonna watch he's gonna watch an NFT video just to get validation of what I said later. I guarantee.
Absolutely. I didn't quite understand it, but I'll do some research on it and see if I can figure out on my own. But Jason Baker out front here in that number 20 machine, the 23 to his outside, the 20 gonna be the control car in this restart, pace car on pit lane. And in the restart zone, pretty good jump from Baker on this restart. Battle can be for 2nd right now with Delaney to the inside into turns number 1 and 2, trying to make that bottom lane work, and it looks like he's going to do so, able to get clear of that 23, just barely out of turn 2, going to try and shut the door. 23 almost into the wall a little bit if he did not touch it, kind of close there, but Delaney through to 2nd, going to be trying to get by that 20. Delaney does have fresher tires, about 20 lap fresher tires than the driver in front of him, so he should be able to make pretty quick work of this car, but we'll have to see if he is actually able to do so. Everyone kind of getting a little bit single filed out in the top 7 or so. First side-by-side action, going to be back in 9th. But we still got that 6 of Delaney up there leading, but that's quite the gaggle in front of these guys.
Yeah, I think Bury and Stone have been in just about every single side-by-side shot we've had thus far on the stream, or so it feels like. But up front, here we come for the battle for the lead. 20 got super high, and that opens the door quite easily for John Delaney, and that's the last thing that these guys want to see is that 6 car in the lead. Took them 191 laps to get there. But now what's that number 6 going to do with clean air? Is that essentially I had to think about it. Is that a GW to the field? Is that a good win to the field? Because he is usually hard to beat once he gets into that position. But you still have the 28 of Murray trying to work his way through this mess, trying to get by Sean O'Brien Jr. there. Then Hicksonbaugh in the 63. Tanner Marty just in front. He is next on the chopping block. Dustin Hall just in front, hanging on to just outside the top 10, where he's been pretty much this majority of the race.
All now looking to the inside of the 77 of Dalton Mobley down into turns number 3 and 4. See a few guys battling in front of them as well, but Dustin Hall trying to get this 11th position out of turn number 4. Got a pretty good run. Gonna have a nose ahead at the start finish, but down into turns number 1 and 2 is the one going to be able to make that bottom lane work. It looks like he is going to be able to almost clear. There he gets on the throttle a little bit sooner and now is clear out of turn number 4. Going to slide up in front of that. Number 77 machine now setting his sights on the back bumper of that 02. Mark Padgett just in front of him. Going to be trying to get by him here. Just about 100 to go in this race. Going to be coming up on that in about 8 laps here. But Dustin Hall trying to get back into that top 10 where he's ran most of this event tonight. And we can see the 20, Jason Baker, already fallen back quite a bit here on those 20 lap older tires. Just not quite able to have the grip he needs and make the speed he needs. That's going to allow Dustin Hall to get up to his outside. Just barely on the... Actually not quite able to get up to his right rear. The guys in front of him kind of checked him up a little bit. But that 20 just struggling for grip. And the 1 also struggling for grip there. Almost lost it in the center of the corner. Here comes Alex Murray to his inside in that 28 now.
Yeah, Alex Murray trying to get into the top 10 there as he is going to fight with Hall and try to go maybe 2 for 1 there, trying to get by Baker on the super old tires. He'll do just that and get himself in a better position here as Patrick Mouchet, captain New Hampshire. Do want to note that he's back in the top 5 now, so the Loudon fanboy is having a great run at the Speedway. Kind of a pink text there on that statement. Who do we have? I see some shuffling going on back in the later end of the top 10. That was the 70 of Michael Christopher with an aggressive move to the inside of Dalton Mobley, who quiet night for him. I don't think we've had too much interaction with him this evening. Just behind that, Robert Anderson and Sean O'Brien Jr. going to kind of get into the end of the top 10, but this is where most of the action on the Speedway is right now. But let's see what else we got going on. Cam Stone to the inside of Brandon Hastings, not Adam Benefiel. That is a top 10 position, but up front Delaney up by about a half a second, so not missing too much there. Roethlisberger trying to hold off the 12 of Jason Taylor. Everybody up here is on equal footing in regards to tires.
Yeah, everyone out there in about the top 10 is on, or top 8 or so is on pretty much even tires. Alex Murray is on a little bit fresher tires than those other drivers, only about 5 or 6 laps, so it shouldn't be too much of an advantage for him, but I'm sure it doesn't take too much of an advantage for him to end up getting up through this field anyway. Already up into that 8th position now, looking to the back bumper of the 57 Cameron Stone, and he's going to be able to try and make a move here entering turn number 3, looking down to the inside. There he goes to the inside of the 57 of Cameron Stone. And Cameron Stone can't really fight it too much. Might have just kind of gave him the lane, let him go by. Alex Murray now up into the 7th position. Next guy in line going to be the 64 Sammy Bori, who is seeing side-by-side quite a bit tonight. Jason Taylor still right on the back bumper of that 23 machine back up front. Just not letting him go. He took a look to the inside a couple laps ago, couldn't quite make it stick, but right on the back bumper of that 23 machine is Taylor in the 12. and just about a half a car length off down the straightaways, just trying to wait for the right moment for that 23 to make a little bit of a mistake and let Taylor take a look to the inside or outside. And Taylor really loose there in the corner. I'm not sure if he tried to downshift or what happened there, but going to lose a spot to the 96 possibly here through 3 and 4. Taylor's kind of taking a bit of a high line, just trying to play it a little bit conservative. Go ahead and let that 96 go by while Taylor is feeling out his car. But that was a really weird move there through 1 and 2. I'm not sure what made that car go loose. But we are at 100 laps to go here in this event. Going to go to lap 301 here tonight. Going to be at least one more pit stop here. We'll have to see if that does end up being under green flag conditions or if we have another caution.
Yeah, so lap 200, Evan. So what's your guess? I think it was 7.
There's caution.
Oh,
so,
all right. Scratch that
+1
lodge.
to your previous guess, Corey.
Well, we didn't make formal guesses, but we'll have to. Sean O'Brien Jr., 65, on the back straightaway, slow and amongst the agriculture. So let's go ahead and take a look. In and about Kevin Steele. He just didn't go, and RJ Root has been in essentially every single caution this evening. Or
there
so
was
it's
there's some smoke going up in front of them. It started with a 70, and it looks like O'Brien was just trying to kind of check up for it, and Root wasn't able to see it.
Oh yeah, this last second, I just, you're expecting everybody to be on the throttle there.
Looks like it was Michael Christopher and Anderson had some contact that started that whole event.
Yeah, Christopher just he washed up, came down. Perhaps he came down. One more look at that. So you get through the center at 1 and 2. Yeah, I think the 70 kind of turned down, not realizing that the 11 had the run he had, and that the residual checkup occurred behind it.
Got most of the field staying out here. They can't, I don't think they could make it on fuel from this point, so no real point in pitting right now and wasting a set of tires. Going to wait at least another probably 15 and 20 laps before we do have any pit stops at all, whether they be under caution or green flag conditions.
Yeah, indeed, that is the case. So we'll get one. We'll see if I can find, I do have them right here. Let's go ahead and have a quick chat with our race leader, John Delaney. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, so kind of the last to first challenge. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but it's kind of what you had on the ball game here today, man. It took about 200 laps to get here, 150 laps to get here, and now you got yourself in a familiar P1. How has it been getting through this pack here tonight?
It's been pretty fun. It's also been pretty challenging as well. We don't have the best car out here for sure, so we're just gonna try and keep the clean air, try and keep the lead, and maybe we can try and gain an edge on Van de Sant and Alex Murray. So, yeah.
So I don't know if you're being a little under the radar here, or if you really don't think you have the best car. It looks like you do, but I know strategy's kind of been all over the place here tonight. What do you think that you need, perhaps, that the 96 has, or do you think maybe that just being loud, you might be able to hold them off either way?
All night we've been struggling with drive off. We get into the turn, get on entry and center, we get through that fine, but coming off exit, we just don't have the drive as they do, and it's just really hard to pass and kind of just stay with them. It's really hard to. So if we can maybe either change up our driving line a little bit and try and save the right rear a little bit, we're going to try and do that, but pretty much just try and stay out in front as long as possible and just play the right strategy.
Yeah, clean air will be your friend. We'll see how the strategies work out with the cautions, but we'll let you get back at it, man. Thanks for the words, and maybe we'll talk to you on the podium.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
So that is John Delaney. I mean, I've been around, Evan. Obviously, you've covered a few races. I've been around a couple more than you have. I don't think I've ever seen John Delaney say that I'm not the best car. So whether he's being modest or perhaps he really has the fears of that 96, we'll see. But I think clean air and there's the nature of Loudon, and you can see here. Oh, we got to call it out, Evan. We got to call it out. Look at turn 2. What is Illusion? Look on the wall there underneath the Sylvania sign.
Revolution. Huh.
American Revolution, and then they messed up the logo and it just says Lucian. So now we get to call things Lucians because that apparently means something. But anyways,
back underway for a Lucian or a restart or whatever you want to call it here. We're going to have Delaney out front, 23 to his outside, pace car pulling down onto pit lane, going to be waiting for that restart zone. And here they are in it. Delaney getting a pretty good jump, but the 23 kind of was able to stay with him better than we've seen anyone else be able to do so tonight. The 23 able to stay in that second position, no challenge from the 96 of Van der Zandt right now. Just behind him, Jason Taylor in fourth, top five now, all single file. First battle back there, Cameron Stone, imagine that, with Patrick Mouchet, who's inside in that 46. Alex Murray just behind them with a little bit fresher tires, been trying to work his way past these guys as quickly as he can without damaging his tires too much.
and what we're going to do now for the first time, we're going to just take mute our mics for a little bit, turn up the engines, and let you feel the thunder here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And we're back here with, sorry, you got to hear our voices again, but that's what we get paid to do. So we're here for the next some odd laps here. As you can see on screen, Alex Murray is trying to get himself back into the top five. Sammy Bury is trying to prevent that from happening, coming down the front straightaway into the braking zone. Hard on the binders. Big dive there from Murray. Bury's going to kind of pinch
Almost
him.
Contact.
But Murray is going to go to the inside, I think, utilize those slightly fresher tires and take that spot. Next will be Cam Stone on the chopping block, potentially for Murray.
Murray now back into the top five. Saw him running a lot of laps out front earlier on in this race, but hasn't been able to put on quite the dominating performance he was in the first stage of this race, just with having Delaney up there now. Van der Zandt has really come into his own, as well as Roethlisberger. They're running pretty close up there in the top three, and then about a second and a half back to Cameron Stone. And then back behind them, Alex Murray in fifth, just trying to continue to work his way up through this field.
Indeed the case. Well, Evan, we got interrupted by that caution, but we were going to reset our caution benchmark. What's your guess? I'll let you go first this time.
So that we're at right now, is that what we're guessing?
Yes.
I am going, so we were at 7 at lap 80. I'm going to go a little bit higher than I think we actually are. I'm going to go ahead and just say 17.
I'm going to go with a 15. And to cue the Steve Harvey, the survey says 14.
Well,
I mean, it's
maybe
bad that we
time.
lost, but it's good that they haven't wrecked as much as we thought, right?
Yeah, I knew 17 was a little bit high, but last time I guessed a little bit lower than it actually ended up being, so I was going to try and compensate for that a little bit, but it didn't work out in my favor. But you were pretty close there, Corey, with that. Just one off there, and about a half-second lead up front, so just kind of staying how it has been for the majority of this run so far.
So we're on board here with a couple guys, and you can just kind of get a little bit of a scope of the weather and you know, the solar conditions, if you will. And by no means am I trying to create drama and say that it's getting dark here, but definitely the sun is starting to go down here. I don't know what our virtual standard time is, Evan, but this race is kind of starting to progress, and the track will start cooling down more. We'll bring up our weather conditions, and started at 80 degrees. The air temp hasn't gone down, but with the sun going under the clouds, I think we started at 117 degree track temp. We're down to 95 now. So definitely that sun going in is going to cool off that track. That's going to give you some more grip. And depending on how your setup is, that grip may or may not be a good thing.
Yeah, because, you know, whenever the track cools down, you can't really say it's going to make you tighter or looser. What it usually does is make whatever issue you're having, it makes it just a little bit worse. If you're fighting a tight car, it's just going to be a little bit tighter. If you're on the loose side, it's just going to make it a little bit looser. So you're definitely going to need to be compensating for that, especially with dropping 20 degrees. That is a lot of temperature for the track to be cooling down. So definitely going to be having, these guys definitely have had to make some adjustments to these cars. And, you know, maybe that's where we're seeing Murray not be quite as good as he was earlier on in this race. These guys might have made their correct adjustments to get up through the field. Maybe Murray, it looks like he might be fighting a little bit of a tight race car out there. Just can't quite get the turn he wants. So not sure if maybe he hasn't quite made the correct adjustments out there. What's been going on with that, but definitely, you know, going to have one more time to work on these cars here tonight at least. You know, we might have another, if we have a couple other cautions, we might have some more pit stops, but at least one more tonight.
Yeah, I think, again, our estimate that we haven't really gotten any validation on is about 85 laps. Just typically that's how many miles you get to a tank at most tracks. Loudon is, you know, you're not on throttle the entire lap naturally, but you do have 2 long straightaways, so I'm going to say confidently 80 to 85 laps probably is where we're going to go. So that being said, most of these guys are about lap 38, 35 to lap 40, so let's add another 40 laps, about 259 would be the maximum if we are even close to being correct. And that would put you in the fuel window to get to the end with enough in the bank for a green-white checker. But the thing that we don't know is we don't know, Evan, how many sets of tires these guys have. I'm trying to look at our information here. We don't have it to display at home, but our timing screen telemetry data, it does actually show how many times these guys have come down pit road, which I guess is a slight indication of potentially how many times they've changed tires, but not 100% sure.
Yeah, most of those guys up there in the top 4, they've changed they've pit 4 times, so we can assume that they would have 2 more sets left on pit road. We can't guarantee that though, because, you know, you don't know if maybe they have at least 2 more sets on pit road. They could have possibly more if they didn't take tires on one of those times. As far as I know, they took tires each time, so I would assume they would have 2 sets left. Behind them, Cameron Stone, he looks like he only has about 1 set left on pit road, as he has come down pit road 5 times. Then Bryson Hicksonbaugh, he has come down pit road 7 times. And there's only 6 sets of tires on pit lane, so we know at least one time he did not take tires. So unfortunately with him, we really won't have any way of knowing exactly how many tires he does have left on pit lane.
Yeah, except, you know, with as many cautions that we've had tonight, a couple guys most certainly have had some damage-only pit stops, and some guys may have topped off for fuel, as you kind of alluded to, Evan. But again, we don't know for sure. We do know guys such as you know, Kevin Steele, and even the 63 for that matter, will probably have 1 less set just because of the strategy that they pulled, where they had that amazing speed at the stage. So I would have to almost guarantee they do have less, because they did use that set to take advantage of segment 2. But all does not matter too much. All depends how it goes. If this race goes green to the end somehow, I mean, then it doesn't really matter. Everyone's going to use one set anyways. If we do have some cautions and you can't pit when everybody else does, then you'll definitely pay the price for it. But with as many wrecks as we've had, Evan, 14 cautions, attrition, still only 3 cars formally out of this race. But that incident count attrition limit is definitely right on the cusp for a great deal of these guys, we'd have to imagine.
Yeah, I know, you know, with Raymond Root, he's the one that kind of comes to mind. We've seen him involved in quite a few incidents here tonight, so he probably only has, I would assume, 1 or 2 left in him before that will be his race-ending event. He's running out there in 12th right now, so he's been able, or actually 11th, so he's been able to recover every single time. Dustin Hall, another one who's been recovering a lot tonight, up there in 10th, just in front of him. And Sammy Borey just in front of them. As we see Raymond Root now taking a look to the inside of that one machine, trying to get up there into the top 10. And Root has to be really careful here, going to be going 3 wide. Took a look to the inside of the 64, wasn't able to make anything stick down there. Looks like the 8 of Root is going to be able to clear down into turns number 1 and 2, just about clear through the center of the corner. Clear of that one machine now to the inside of the 64. We're going to try and get a 2 for 1 here. Out of turn number 2, Raymond Root clear for that 9th position.
Root is a prime example that you can never give up on a race no matter how bad it may be going. There's so many times with myself that, you know, it'll be lap 50 of 150 and I spin out. Oh,
behind them, a little contact.
And we're going around 11 machine. Jason Baker, I'm pretty sure he just incident. I think the 20 just had his incident limit
out.
Yes, because he has just instantaneously disappeared. But that will throw out the caution, and it will be presumably at the far reach of the fuel range. But we'll see what happens. But 11 car following him. 20 got loose at the top of the screen there. Ammon, terrible chain of events for him because he's obviously had a great day. But that obviously will change things up. And you can see here from the 20's perspective, he got loose into the wall, and then look at this. Boop, he's gone.
Yeah, it looks like he did hit that incident limit, and he has left the server, so he is definitely done for the night. We have Delaney up there, and it looks like the 23 behind him all going to be coming down pit road here. Alex Murray just behind them in 3rd. Cameron Stone. I do see maybe one driver staying out. I'm not entirely sure if he is on the lead lap. He is. It's going to be the 77. Dalton Mobley going to be staying out on the track to at least lead a lap.
Yes, indeed. But what we're going to do here is we're going to step side by side and kind of prep ourselves for the remainder of the race. So stay with us. We'll be right back for the restart. And we're back here on BTR TV for round number 20 of the 100% Cup Series here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Getting ready for our 15th-ish restart, something on that line, Evan. But we have the 77 of Dalton Mobley on old tires. He's going to be the control car heading into the Geico restart zone. John Delaney to the outside. How is this going to fare? Is it going to be wheel spin? I don't know. Let's find out. So far, so good. Green, green, green. Delaney's going to stay side by side at his quarter panel entering one.
Mobley was able to clear down into one. Delaney dropped back a little bit on corner entry. Here comes that 23 machine down to the inside. Going to be leading for the first time here tonight. Alex Murray through to second. Jonathan Delaney got trapped behind him there. Very unfortunate restart for Delaney. Going to be back to the 5th position here. Possibly going to drop back a little bit further. Now has the 0-2 of Paget to his inside. The 77 loose right in front of him once again. Going to allow even the 63 of Hicksonball to get to his inside. Very, very unfortunate restart for the 6. They're just trying to get to the inside, trying to get around him any way he can. Raymond Root now 3 wide on the bottom underneath that 6. That 77 just dropping like a rock here. Those old tires are not working out at all. Delaney going to be trying to work his way back up through this field, and not sure what's going on with Delaney here. He's having
Did he get a restart violation, maybe?
Let me take a look at that restart and check and see.
Well, we're going to do so together because why not?
Delaney may have fired first there, and that might have been the issue.
Yeah, we're on our instant replay right now.
You can see Delaney kind of went like at the exact same time there. And it might have been deemed that Delaney fired first, which you're not allowed to do.
Yeah, it all boils down to, from a algorithmic how iRacing dictates it perspective. It all goes off the telemetry as the sun comes back out here. That'll change our track temp. When it dictates that you have hit the gas, that's what is deemed as going. So if you have a sustained period of about a second or two of you're on the gas, iRacing's going to think that's when you're going. So whether you are or not, you have to kind of work within what the algorithm gives you. As Delaney is now in his pit box, and I don't know what the penalty of such is for doing that. I would assume it should have just been like a stop and go, but clearly it's a sustained penalty. So that's going to completely change the dynamic of the race, because it's going to take out a key competitor. So now basically Roethlisberger and Murray are your top challengers, but I think that 57, Evan, may have something to say about that.
I think what happened with Delaney is it looks like he came down to serve that penalty. He served it, but I believe he got a speeding penalty on entry there. Just a little bit more salt in the wound there for him. Looks like he's going to be about 2 laps down here. Still out on track, but very unfortunate turn of events there for Delaney. It's going to take him out of contention here tonight. Back there in the 28th position.
He's only 1 lap down, and there's only 1 car separating him from the lucky dog spot. So in all reality, 2 cautions, he's right back in it. I mean,
well, let's see. I think he might be 2 down. Let's see if it updates here. He may only be, no, he's only 1 lap down. So yeah, you know, he's not out of it yet. I thought he was 2 down, but you know, being only 1 lap down, he could definitely get that lucky dog, get back in to contention here tonight. So
I mean, I don't know if he would get back from you know, all the way from, you know, we would take 2 cautions. So if we get 2 cautions, and he'd have to go from 28th to, you know, maybe he can at least get a top 15 out of it. That may be his goal at that point. But
yeah, for him to be back into contention, he would need to play the right pit strategy and kind of try and flip the field if he could. But I don't know if we'll be having anyone else come down pit road here tonight. Even if we do have some more cautions, you know, they should have enough fuel to make it to the end. And Roethlisberger is still out there leading the field. Alex Murray just behind them. Got some battling going on a little bit further back in the pack. Van de Sant in 8th position, or actually up to 7th now. Carl Dodson trying to get by that 63. Pixenbaugh is able to do so here now. Dodson through to the 8th position. Those battling is kind of fizzling out a little bit, as of course it happens right when I speak about them.
Commentator's curse always happens, but coming down the back straightaway here, the sun coming back out, so let's never mind. Caution yet again.
We'll have to see what this is for.
Bryson Alexander, our battery man.
See, Delaney slow as well. I believe that's just due to the caution being out. But yeah, Bryson Alexander is where that started.
Well, self-spin, and that means he's making me want to buy some energizers because he is not having the run you'd want.
Yeah, just out of 4, he got a little bit up the hill and into the slick area of the track and just lost out of the corner, so very unfortunate for him. And gonna bring out another caution here tonight, so gonna have at least one more restart. I'd expect everyone to stay out on the track and try and save their, possibly last set of tires. I thought Alex Murray was gonna be coming down pit road, but he did stay out. I don't see anyone coming down pit road here.
Yeah, pit road is a very empty place, and you have to just wonder, Evan. My guess, and I think I'm right on this, is that everyone probably has one set of tires left, and they're probably saving it for that super late race caution for maybe 270, 280, something on those lines. Or perhaps they're out entirely, but I think they're just saving that last set for that exact perfect pit stop.
Absolutely, and see, I believe that's the 11 of Anderson getting the lucky dog there. So unfortunately for Delaney, unfortunately for Delaney, he it's been a long everything today. But Delaney, unfortunately, not getting the lucky dog there. But he will be the only car one left out. So if we do get another caution, he'll be back on the lead lap. And, maybe come down and get some tires here when some other people don't, and it goes green. He could be able to get up there to the top 10 or so.
Evan, I'm going to cut you off, and let's be realistic. If we get another caution, and if this goes green,
when we get another caution.
And when this, and then when we get another caution after that.
But, this could end up playing out for Delaney where it works out okay for him. But definitely going to be very hard for him to get up there to the top 5 or back into winning contention.
And I'm trying to do reverse psychology here by saying that there's going to be a ton more cautions, that this is going to be the run that takes us to the checkers. That's what we're going for here with this logic. But we finally have had a little bit of attrition here. Baker is out, that we did see on what we presume to be incident caps, but we still do have Cloud and Samuelson, Pierce, Tracy, and Alexander all cruising around double-digit laps off of the pace. Of course, Anderson just got his lap back. And the number 28, is that a Borat pit board there? I can't quite tell, but
it sure looks like it.
I mean, I don't know. It said something there. I don't know if it says Wawa Weewa or very nice, but
Wawa Weewa.
Yeah, you're a little too young for that movie. It was out while you were alive, but the context of it was a little... Actually, no, you're old, though. Context of that movie's fine enough for you. Go watch Borat if you want. Go watch Borat if you ever want to laugh. And then...
Didn't they just come out with a new one, like last year?
I believe so. There was another Borat movie. It was called Bruno. It was probably like 2013, 2012-ish. It was the most uncomfortable movie watching experience I've ever had in my life. Like, literally, it was uncomfortable. So if you ever watch that, just don't say that I told you to watch it. But anyways, we are getting ready for a restart yet again. We haven't really seen too many examples of the second place car getting any relevant jump, and last time that happened it may have been too good of a jump, so we'll see what happens this time around as we're going to go fire off in the Geico restart zone, and Murray is going to get about 2 car length advantage. Stone's going to try to take a look to the inside of Murray through 1 and 2. Stone, this is the best he's been all day, has some clean air on the nose of that Coors Light Mustang off of 2 at the quarter panel, and I don't know if Murray's going to be able to sustain it, but Cam's still going for it.
Cameron Stone brought out, I believe, the first caution of the night on lap 1. But he was battled back, almost able to contact there with the 28, almost turned him around, but they were able to keep it straight. So Cameron Stone from spinning on lap 1 up into the 3rd position. He's trying to get 2nd there. Back behind him, Raymond Root going for 4th. This will be a comeback story, not just a comeback story, coming back, I believe it's like 3 or 4 times he had spun out so far. And up there in the 4th position now, getting by that 0-2. So very good recovery for him. And just behind Root, we're gonna have the 96 of Van de Sant. So a lot of comers and goers so far this race, and coming to about 50 laps to go, it's gonna be getting to the point where you really can't afford any more mistakes.
Yeah, and it's not even so much a perspective of a comeback. It's just like he's self-spun. He hasn't had bad luck. Like all but maybe one of his incidents was completely self-induced. So to finally be able to reel in what he's been doing wrong and kind of gather himself in, figure out what's wrong, what's right, and get around this New Hampshire Speedway in safe and quick manner. That's what he's doing. He just has absolutely what we presume to be no wiggle room with the incident limit. He needs to essentially have this race run perfectly clean. Can't really sustain any damage, we would have to imagine, because of that incident limit, but doing a great job nonetheless. And for you John Delaney fans, of course, he still is in the lucky dog spot. Robert Anderson, he is 11 seconds off the pace and running about 2 seconds a lap slower than everybody else, so it will take a quick caution, because otherwise Anderson may regain the lucky dog spot. But we do have some racing going on. I think, as I said, Sammy Bieri is, every time I see side by side, Sammy Bieri is in the picture, and he is battling with Michael Christopher in that 15th spot for a side by side battle on the racetrack.
Yeah, Christopher right on the back bumper of, I believe that's Sammy Borey now. Let me take a look here and see. Yeah, so that is Sammy Borey with Christopher right on his back bumper coming through turns number 1 and 2 here. Kevin Steele just in front of them. Most of the field kind of singled out here now, just trying to hopefully log some laps. Got about 50 laps to go at the stripe here. Going back just behind them, it looks like we have a battle forming here. Damaris Hickenbottom on the outside, 65. Sean O'Brien Jr. to the inside, down the front straightaway here. That is for the 18th position. Sean O'Brien trying to take it away from Hickenbottom. Coming through turns number 1 and 2 here. O'Brien does have the preferred lane. Hickenbottom got a little bit too high there through 1 and 2. That's going to allow O'Brien to clear for that position. We're going to stay down in that bottom lane. Now he does go up to go ahead and block that 00 and not let him drive it in onto his back bumper. And then just behind them, that's Alex Princeton and that number 9 machine, the Panera machine. I know a little bit about Panera myself, but back there in the 21st position, some pretty good racing going on here mid-pack.
Yeah, sometimes the best racing is the racing that's not, going for the win. It's the guys going for the top 15, because, a lot of guys in this league, a top 15 will feel like a win, because the competition in this series is just so astute that, you can't always go ahead and just hop in and get a top 10. So you start off, just qualifying in as we have some smoke. That
and
is
caution. Not sure who it's
Kyle,
for.
is it Kyle Ammon? No, I'm not quite sure.
I see Ammon is
Ryan
stopped.
Samuelson. He is the one that's actively in the pits right now, so we're going to take a gander that it is in and about him.
I think it started with Ammon, and I'm trying to see where Samuelson came into play here.
Yeah, Samuelson just kind of spun later on by himself. Ammon is right in front of Hoytsma. Hoytsma, actually, he just spun on the seam, and then you can see here on the back end of the shot, I really can't figure out what happened with the 81 there, but it's a self-spin. Again, this NextGen car, clearly it does not like the banking transitions, especially on corner exit.
Yeah, so just under 50 laps to go here, and, kind of gets to the point of this is getting where you may want to come down, get some tires. Looks like they've only got about 25 laps on this set, so I don't know if I'd want to put them on quite yet, but if you're someone like Delaney, I would go ahead and you know, Delaney is going to be getting the lucky dog this time by. I would go ahead and put those four tires on and then just hope it goes green to the end. You know, I don't think he's going to be really expecting it to, but he's got to do something. He's in 28th right now. Just come down pit road, put those 4 tires on, and go ahead and get back out there and try and get all the spots he can. Because we're going to have probably about 42, 43 once we get back underway here to go. It looks like most of the field is staying out here, or it should be open, and I don't really see anyone coming down pit road apart from Mark Paget and Dustin Hall and a few other guys a bit further back.
Yeah, the benefit for Delaney, I mean, one of the worst parts of being a lucky dog is that you typically start absolute tail end on the field, so you'll be behind all the lap cars and damaged cars and everything. But it's kind of the nature of what's going on this evening is with the minimal attrition that we have, is he's really only going to be 3 or 4 cars behind the cars he'll actively be going for positions. So he's not going to be at the normal detriment that a free pass car would. So the odds of him being able to get himself into a decent position is rather high. So definitely something that, if you are a fan of him, I don't think he's going to go out and win the race, but I think a top 15, maybe a top 10 could be a stretch goal for him. But he didn't yield to your advice with the tires, Evan. He did stay out, and he's going to keep him presumably that extra set for maybe a subsequent caution a little bit later.
Yeah, and I see Delaney has come down pit road 7 times already. You know, actually, I guess 2 of those were for serving those penalties, so you should still have 1 set left on pit road, but trying to save those for the remainder of the event. But we are on 1 degree now. At 23, Zach Roethlisberger can be the control car on the inside lane. To the outside, Alex Murray in the 28. In that row behind them, Cameron Stone in that 3rd position, Raymond Root in 4th, Alex Van de Sant in 5th, and then Carl Dodson to his outside in 6th.
Indeed, that is the case, and can Roethlisberger win his first race in the series? I mean, it's not the first race in the series altogether, because you do have to qualify in via the Division 2 series on Fridays, but if he can come in and win race number 1, that's probably not something that's happened too many times. So but Alex Murray is going to try and intercept that thought coming off of 4. Again, the leader on the restarts has had the huge advantage, and the green flag will be in the air, and it looks like Murray was a little bit more awake on that restart, and he'll stay much closer to him than he has been in prior attempts.
And about a half a car length between those drivers as they exit turn number 2. Top 2 all single file. Their battle is currently for 3rd. Cameron Stone to the inside. Raymond Root in 4th, trying to take ownership of that position. And, you know, Cameron Stone just stood up the track a little bit there through 1 and 2. That's going to hurt him a little bit through the center, but he's able to get a pretty good run on corner exit. Raymond Root pretty much dead even down into turns number 1 and 2. Raymond Root is just running a little bit too high there through 1 and 2 up there in the 4th lane. Can't really run up there, but battle going on for the lead. Alex Murray to the inside of the 23, entering turns number 1 and 2, or turns number 3 and 4. 28, Alex Murray sliding up the track a little bit, almost contact there between those drivers. Murray getting clear for that lead, as we have about 40 laps to go here tonight at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. New leader goes back to Alex Murray. Now Raymond Root in he had sole possession of that 3rd position. Now a little bit of contest from the 57 of Cameron Stone once again. You can see looking back the back of the 23 car as they enter turns number 3 and 4, and Raymond Root's just doing a really good job of running that 3rd lane. You know, sometimes even up there in the 3.5, you know, just with his right sides in that really black area up on the top, which is not really where you want those tires to be, but he's able to make that work.
Yes, he is. Now he's going to go a little bit too high, but look at the surge he got through the center of the corner there. So he's maybe found something. Usually you don't find people running in that discolored asphalt on the top of the racetrack here. Remember, as I said earlier in the broadcast, the bottom 3 lanes were all kind of repaved in and around 2002 when the track was remodeled very slightly. And then everything else is still the original 1993 ish pavement, if memory serves. I may have to look that up myself, but I don't recall this place being paved ever since then. So that pavement is a lot different outside of the racetrack. But either way, up front, looks like Roethlisberger is not dropping back. Last time by, he actually was a skosh faster than Murray. We'll see what the stopwatch does tell us this time by. Looks like Murray had him by roughly a tenth, but RJ Root there in the 30s will actually show you on the left side of your display. You can see the top two in the 31s, but the really third through 7th all in the 30s. So our leader is actually some of the slowest in the top 10 last time by.
Not something you see very often, but you know, if you look there behind third on back, they're all kind of just there in a line. They have some pretty good speed here. You know, maybe they were saving their tires just a little bit better than these two drivers out there in front of him. As the 23 has caught right back up to the back bumper of that 20 of Alex Murray. Just doesn't seem like they quite have the same drive off that 23 does, but through the center, or sorry, they don't have the same drive off the 28 does. But through the center, the 23, Roethlisberger is quite fast and is able to catch up a little bit, but just lose it on corner exit. But coming up here behind him, Raymond Root right on the back bumper, continuously about a tenth and a half faster than those in front of him.
And again, if he's able to win this, it'll be absolutely phenomenal. But he's going to have to do it as cleanly as physically possible. Maybe if we are able to talk to him later, we can figure out exactly how many incidents he does have. But Alex Van de Sant, he just got by Stone, so Van de Sant's been one of, if not the fastest car on the racetrack. Whether he can make up 3 spots in 40-ish laps is to be determined, because he does have a second of gap to the leader, but a second plus 3 cars is a challenging feat. But look at up front, Evan. Roethlisberger is starting to close back to Murray. I think that long run pace of that 23 starting to come into fruition.
Absolutely, that 23 and the 8 kind of starting to even out a little bit here. You know, Raymond Root probably slowing down just a little bit. He's getting into some dirty air now. One thing I really like about Root is he's been able to make that high lane work, so I think that's going to make it a lot easier for him to get by these guys. But he's definitely going to have to put together a couple corners to get a really good run to try and get to their, you know, inside or outside. You just see how much through the center Raymond is able to gain there. So that's really where he's gaining. He just needs to be able to hang on just a little bit better on corner X to get some good runs here. He's taking a look to the outside, doesn't really have enough momentum to really get anywhere with it. But really close lap times by pretty much everyone out there in the top 5 right now.
I think that's just a testament to the series. Even though it is an open setup series, there is a lot of team affiliations, a lot of people working together. Of course, I'm sure there's a couple guys getting setup shops out there, I'd have to imagine, but everybody's still doing some good work, and some knowledgeable guys about the intricacies of making their setups, and obviously that is attested to how quickly these guys are running and competitively they are running. But laps are ticking away. 34 laps to go. If this goes green, we're estimated about 15 minutes, 16 minutes of green flag action. For you John Delaney fans, he has got himself up to the 14th spot, currently 4.5 seconds behind your race leader, and he is on much older tires than a couple guys up there. For example, Dustin Hall is on 14 lap tires. So if he gets by the 1 on 20 lap older tires, that would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and you know, Delaney at this point, he's just begging for a caution. I feel like a caution at this point would go ahead and just bring everyone down pit road. I'm sure we'd have, you know, a couple guys that would stay up, but most of the field would come down pit road, just go and put that last set of tires on these cars. And Alex Murray starting to pull away just a little bit here, about a half-second lead over the 23 machine. Raymond Root still right on the back bumper of that car, and then behind them still the 96 Van de Sant, and closing in just a little bit on the back of the 8 as well as the 23. Not quite close enough to be making any moves quite yet, but we still do have 31 laps to go here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So still plenty of time for them to kind of make some moves up here. Got a little bit of a battle going on back for the 7th position. It's going to be Mark Paget to the inside of Hicksonbaugh through turns number 3 and 4. Hicksonbaugh just up the track, just kind of letting him go by here, not wanting to fight it too much. Paget goes through to 7th with sole ownership of that position. Now taking a look at the 6th position over the 2 of Carl Dodson. Pretty good move there through 1 and 2 to get to his inside, and now able to clear easily on the exit of turn number 2. And that's going to move the 02 machine up there to 6th. Carl Dodson back to 7th. Hicksonbaugh back to 8th. And that's kind of the main battle that was going on out there. So back out front, Murray still pulling away just a little bit, and everything's just staying the same behind them. Just about 2-3 car lengths between each driver.
And I think Dodson definitely goes into the sort of the same category as a Root, where he's had such a varied day of getting loose and just being in not so much incidents, but just being all over the place, scattered with different issues, and somehow managing to pull it all off and get himself in a respectful finishing position, but still a little bit of racing to go before we can completely seal the deal on that. But let's go ahead, as we have a little bit of time, and just kind of show everybody on the track and do a quick through the running order right now. Alex Murray is our leader, with Zach Roethlisberger running in the 2nd spot. In 3rd, we have RJ Root. In 4th, we have Alex Van de Sant. In 5th, we have Mark Paget. Cam Stone running in 6th. Bryson Hicksonbaugh running in 7th. We have Carl Dodson in 8th. Dustin Hall running in 9th. And then Lucas Hoitzman running at our top 10. Currently under fire from John Delaney in 11th.
Yeah, so John Delaney there in 11th and 12th. We're going to have the number 64 machine of Sammy Borey. He's kind of out there on his own right now. Has Kevin Steele behind him, currently in 13th. In 14th, we have Tanner Marty in that 29 machine. 15th, we got the 83 Brandon Hastings. In 16th, we have the number 46 Patrick Michaud's have a pretty up and down day, but up there currently in 16th. And then just to his inside in 17th, we have the number 70 machine of Michael Christopher. In 18th, we have Sean O'Brien. In 19th, we have Kyle Ammon. And 20th is going to be Alex Princeton.
Wayne Grassi in 21st, Randy Drumhiller in 22nd, Preston McRae in 23rd, Chad Sanner in 24th, Damaris Hickenbottom in 25th, Dalton Mobley in 26th, Robert Anderson in 27th, Jason Taylor in 28th, Bryson Alexander in 29th. We have Tracy in 30th, Brandon Pierce in 11th, and Chris Claude, the last of the drivers on track right now. Up front, looks like we thought that Roethlisberger was going to have a chance, but he is currently starting to pull the legs out, closing it on a 1-second interval up front. And RJ Root is losing a spot to Mark Paget, who's pulling himself into the podium spot, only a second behind Evan. So, I mean,
and one thing I want to point out about Paget, sorry to cut you off there, but Paget has 24 lap fresher tires. If this does continue to go green, Paget is absolutely in the best position to win this race, which is something we really haven't seen coming a whole lot. You know, he's been up there in the top 10, top 15 pretty much all night. Oh, almost with a contact there with the 23. Managed to keep it off of him, but, you know, Mark, we've seen him up there a lot, but he just hasn't quite had that winning speed. But up there now through to 2nd on those fresher tires. Just a little over 20 laps to go here. It's going to be very interesting to see if this does go green. Paget's going to have some pretty... Paget's going to be pretty safe here on being able to win this race, I feel like.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine. We talked to Evan about how the strategies were going to work out, and we presumed that everybody had that extra set of tires in the bank, and it was just a matter of whether you wanted to save it for a late race caution, if indeed we had one, or if you wanted to use it and just kind of go on the presumption that everything would just play out green. And we have to imagine, and we don't have any facts to prove this, we have to imagine that Paget took the stance that, you know, this is going green and I'm going to go put myself in victory lane and take advantage of it. And if that caution comes out, I think he's absolute toast. But if it doesn't come out, he is very likely a genius.
Yeah, because it looks like Paget has come down pit road 6 times, so we don't know if he took 4 tires each time, but he most likely did, so that would mean that he has used up all of his tires, so he absolutely does want this to go green to the end and not have any cautions or any more pit stops or anything of the sorts. Only about 0.4 of a second now from the back bumper of that 02, and caution out on the track, exactly what Paget did not want. Trying to see
Brandon
who
Hastings
that
in
was
that
for.
83 machine backwards on the backstretch.
Oh, and I believe he caught the wall pretty good there.
With our replay out via our blimp cam, he was underneath Tanner Marty, and it seems as though he might have washed up, but that wasn't it. And Marty came down into him off of 2. Whether incidental or circumstantial, that is your decision to make, but either way, that was our caution.
Yeah, and I have to imagine you have to go in the pit road here. I don't see how anyone could stay out on the track. It looks like Mark Paget is coming down pit road. We'll have to see if he does end up taking 4 tires here.
Yeah, we'll kind of put our focus on him. I mean, maybe he took 2, maybe he only had 2 sets, maybe he double stinted early. We didn't really focus on him in the early portion of the race, so what he did earlier we did not really get a good spectrum of, but we're gonna take a look here from our pit road cam. Great success.
Right side's up.
That's what Alex Murray's car says. I had to do the accent. Right side's up, left side's
And left
up.
side's up. 4 fresh tires on Paget, so he must have came down pit road at least 2. Delaney wins the race off pit road. Must have been a 2-tire call for that driver. Yeah, so we'll have to see if the 2
Delaney
tires
with
works
a
out.
9.4 second pit stop, so that's confirmed, and Dustin Hall remaining on the speedway.
Yeah, he pitted under that previous caution, so he has 28 laps on his tires. I believe he also is out of his tires because it looks like he's pitted about 6 times as well, so he most likely just didn't really have a choice to come down pit road and put tires on, so he's like, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and stay out, and he's going to try and hang on the best he can. We're going to have Jonathan Delaney lining up next to him on this restart on 2 fresh tires and then 4 tires on everybody behind him.
Yeah, it was told by iRacing staff at one point or another that it was their goal to encompass the feature of tire changes to where you could actually put back a set of tires that you used on prior. I'm sure that a bunch of these guys wish that was a feature, because I'm sure there's probably a set of 5-10 lap old scuffs that you'd rather have on there than what you have, but unfortunately that's not what we have available, so gotta make do with what we have. And you know, Badgett definitely pulled the money card out there with that strategy, and then having that extra set after all. Whether he has the car set up to do what he was about to do, which was pass Alex Murray, I think that's a big question mark for all of us. But we're going to have 2 tires and no tires on the front row, Evan, with a restart probably with 17 laps to go. I haven't really checked cautions or paid much attention, but I think your caution has very well be in fruition now. We're probably at about 15 now, and I have a strong vibe we ain't done with this yellow flag yet.
Yeah, especially this restart is going to be chaos here with no tires on at Dustin Hall and then 2 tires on that 6 of Delaney. We know Delaney has the speed to be up there to contend for this win, but I just don't know on those 2 tires if he'll be able to get that handling how he needs it to hang out front there. You know, he had to try something though. He was back there around 10th, and maybe all he had left was those 2 tires, but you know, going to be restarting second here. Going to have to try and get a good start, and he really needs to just get ahead of this one as quickly as he can. If he's even able to, and then just try and get as big of a gap as he can back to Alex Murray, and just try and hold on the best he can.
My fruition says that my thoughts say that the race is essentially meant to be won between 3rd through 6th right now, but that is anybody's ball game. Make your guesses in chat. Who's going to get this race 1. Dustin Hall on the oldest tires of all. He's going to be the Geico restart zone leader, and he's going to get on that accelerator pedal, get this race underway with 17 laps to go. Delaney on the 2 tires. He got a decent restart on the outside, but now the inside is going to be populated by Alex Murray. Some slight contact, if potentially a little bit. Look at, is Delaney going for a 3-wide, split the middle, entering turn 3.
Delaney absolutely needed to make that move, able to contact there with the 6 and 28. I'm sure Delaney's not going to be super happy about that, but he did push the issue there to contact. Gonna hang on to it, but not behind them. Big wreck down the front straightaway here. Big pile
63, up. Huge damage back there. With, oh my God, a parking lot on the front straightaway. Kevin Steele, Preston McRae, 65 of Sean O'Brien involved. Kind of a multiple part incident there.
Pierce, man, a lot of cars involved in that one.
Yeah, so we'll try to focus on the big one there more than anything else, because I think that's what is most of interest right now. See the 3-wide on the top of the shot there, and that definitely did wad things up, but everybody was fine. But when they wadded up, essentially Hicksabaugh turned into the pinball. You can see Preston McRae, you can see the 59 of Chad Sander, Wayne Grassi just came to a dead stop. But that's just what happens when we're pushing 3 wide on a track that, in all sincerity, isn't built to run 3 wide. But at the end of these races, you got to do what you got to do, as they say, and sometimes it ends up well, sometimes it doesn't.
And in this case, it ended up rather not well for a few drivers out there. Very unfortunate for Delaney, back into 5th now, so that's going to most likely end his chances of winning this race. With him being on only 2 tires, I doubt he'll be able to get up through the field and hang on for any more than that. But Alex Murray back out front, our pole sitter, led a bunch of laps here tonight. Mark Padgett in 2nd, Raymond Root in 3rd, Alexander Van Desant in 4th, and Cameron Stone rounding out that top 5. Should get back underway here with about, I'd say, 12, 13 laps to go. And I absolutely would not be surprised if there's another caution here. The intensity is just going to keep going higher and higher every single restart here and every single lap.
Yep, and we may be pushing one of the longest 100% races I think we've covered. At least I've covered on the channel anyway, so well, hopefully these guys do keep it modestly clean and we don't break any records that we don't want to necessarily break. But Evan, we haven't really done it yet, and I think this might be a harder decision than we give it credit for. But who's your pick?
Raymond Root. That's my pick.
Well, as much as I despise beyond belief going for a Ford guy, I think I got to put my money on the 96 car. It all depends on the restart. I think Murray is going to get a good restart, but I think we're just going to have an absolute cluster, and he's able to pull it off.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Alex Murray, I could definitely see him just going out there and winning this race completely easily with no competition. But
what fun is that? What fun is that?
I just feel like at this point, I want to believe that that's not going to happen, and I don't think that's going to happen. Even if I'm being honest, I don't think that's going to happen because it's been too close on the restarts. After 10 to 15 laps, it kind of gets spread out. But on these restarts, it's going to be so tight. It's going to be so easy it's going to be so tempting just to go ahead and drive it into the corner so a little bit deeper, just try to get underneath his left rear, and it's going to be some carnage, some contact, I'm sure, but it's going to be a fun ending to this race. And Alex Murray coming to the 1 to green here, going to be taking the inside lane. It looks like we'll have, I believe, 11 laps to go when we get back underway here.
Yeah, if you are RJ Root, you don't really have what we presume. You don't have the incident points in the bank to make any overly aggressive moves, because if it backfires, you may very well be completely disappeared out of the ball game. So I think RJ Root being behind the 28 is a safe sign for him. But if the outside lane can persevere at all, That's kind of where you want to be anyways, but we'll see. And through all this mess, John Delaney has got himself into 5th. Did we talk about that, Evan? John Delaney's in 5th.
Yeah, Delaney back to 5th. We'll have to see what he can do here. He's on those 2 tires, but pace car pulling down onto pit lane. Alex Murray, the control car for this restart, into the Geico restart zone, and gets a good jump. The 0-2 kind of missed a shift there just a little bit. It's going to allow Raymond Wright to clear for 2nd. Going down into turns number 1 and 2, that 0-2 machine dropping back a little bit here on the restart. Still up there on the outside lane. Back there side by side with Delaney for 4th. But the battle right now is going to be a little bit further behind them. 96 and 57 side by side as well. It's going to be possibly a little bit of 3 wide there. We can see that 6 at Delaney just backing up the 57 a little bit there, just on those 2 tires. Can't quite hold the same corner speed.
Dustin Hall goes around. I think, and Hoytsma front straightaway is bottled up yet again.
Another caution here out on the track, I believe.
Same exact style wreck.
Involved.
Same exact style wreck. Let's try to go back and if you have any prompts, Evan, for me, that'd be fabulous.
Yeah, so it looks like they did start with Lucas Hoytsma as well as Dustin Hall, just out of turn number 4 on that lap. Just had a little bit of contact.
All right,
a lot of bit of contact.
A lot of bit indeed. As Q back a little bit further there. You can see off of 4. Hall is getting underneath Bury there, and I think he had to stop. He was going to hit Bury, he had to step off the gas, and Hoytsma was not expecting it. You can see the 83, the 65 of O'Brien, Grassy again, and will put us under our a lot caution of the race. Lost again. A lot is now a number.
Yeah, a lot caution of the race, but Alex Murray still out there waiting in the field, and you know, Murray's loving. Do you think he's loving these continuous cautions? Just kind of killing laps for him, but you gotta be a little bit nervous about these restarts here, because you know, Raymond Root up there now in 2nd. What's he gonna be able to do on this restart? I feel like he would almost rather be in 3rd, unless he can get a pretty good jump here and maybe try and stay side by side with the leader. But you know, we're only going to have about 5 laps to go by the time we get this thing back underway, so if we do have any other cautions, we'll be going into overtime, which I believe there are 3 attempts. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the case as well, Evan. But the thing with the restarts, to your point, we haven't, the only person that even had a modestly good restart on the outside lane or from 2nd place overall was Delaney, and he got penalized for that, from what we imagined. So there's quite a fine line to play between getting a good jump and not getting penalized. Of course, if there is any black flags in this series, whether justified or not, because there is not a sit-out admin, there are no penalties cleared. You will take whatever iRacing gives you, whether it makes sense or not. So I think a lot of these guys on the restarts are playing with caution in mind, just for the sake of not getting beat by the algorithm.
Yeah, absolutely. And still gonna be on 2 to green here, so we get the one to go next time by. Jonathan Delaney managed to get up to 4th there on that restart, so he gained 1 spot, going to move him up a row into the 2nd row on the outside, so going to be a little bit better of a restarting position for him.
Indeed the case, and again, do have a pretty decent live audience now, so I want to thank everybody for tuning in here. You're ready for a barn burn of a finish here at Loudon. Make sure you like and subscribe if you have not done so. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time on PTR TV for the Indy Road Course race, which will be the first, well, one of the first races on the soon to be released new layout of Indy, unless they choose to stay on the current layout, if it even is available. So a lot of question marks, but I am expecting us to be on the new Indy layout, so you'll want to catch that broadcast here in 2 weeks' time. And next week we'll be at 3 Wide TV for the Pocono race at the Tricky Triangle. So let's pop over to our friends network and make sure you catch that race there. But 1 to go has been issued, so we're going to have 5 laps to go, and I'd have to imagine if a single caution comes out at 5 to go, we're probably going to engage green-white checker status. So whether we can finish this out or not is a question mark, but if so, it should be a good one either way.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if we'll have to use that green-white checkered overtime. Hopefully we won't have to, but we do have it if we need it. So we're going to be coming back around to 5 laps to go here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Alex Murray, the control car on this restart. Raymond route to his outside as we wait for the pace car to pull down onto pit lane. There it goes down, but we're still waiting on that Geico restart zone, which we're in now, so waiting on the 28. And there he goes. Raymond Root got a really good jump there. We'll have to see if he went before our leader and got a penalty, but he got a really good jump there. Managed to clear 4 second over that O2 machine. Really getting backed up there behind them. Gonna have to try it and not get into each other all here. Delaney still gonna hang on to 4th there on the outside at the 57 as they go down into turns number 3 and 4. A little bit of contact there with the 96 and 23. Now 3 wide with a 6 up top. Getting a little bit spicy up here. Everyone managing to keep it straight, but coming to we're at 4 laps to go here now, and top 5 all bumper to bumper here.
Yeah, some near 3 wide. Van de Sant in the 96 tried to go 3 wide underneath Roethlisberger and Padgett, but had to back out of it. That flat just does not have enough. But kind of our $1 million question right now is, does RJ Root have anything in store? He's spun out probably more.
And he got a penalty. It looks like I was correct about that. He fired just a little bit before the leader did. Heartbreaker for Raymond Root. He looked like he had the speed to go up there and contend, but that's going to hand sole possession of that lead over to Alex Murray, and it looks like we're wrecking behind him.
Yeah, will it be enough for a yellow? Jason Taylor. We just had Jason Taylor and Tanner Marty incident cap out of the race. Essentially at the same time, and I think even Michael Christopher. So Evan, you might have to give me some leads here, because most of my leads just got removed from the race instantaneously.
Yeah, so it looks like it started with Patrick Miche and Sammy Corre through turns number 1 and 2.
All right, I think I got something here for us to view. Let's see here that the 46 to the inside. Yeah, Sammy Bieri just came right down the track into Miche, and then boom, incident capped out. There was just 2 right in that shot by itself.
Yeah, Bure kind of came down across the nose of that 46, but Bure was able to get away scot-free from that. Gonna hang on to that 7th position, so fortunate for him and very unfortunate for a lot of those other drivers. Kevin Steele, Wayne Grassi, and Damaris Hickenbottom all able to make their way up into the top 10. Due to this attrition, just kind of working their way back up through the field. So really good run for those guys. This is going to be a green-white checkered, so when we get back underway, we'll have 3 attempts here for overtime. Once we get back underway, we'll come around for 2 laps. We'll get the white flag. If a caution comes out before the white flag, we'll just go ahead and try it again, and we'll give it another 2 attempts. So a total of 3 attempts. And then if we make it to the white flag, there'll be just no more cautions, and checkered flag will end that race.
Yeah, indeed the case. And, you know, as we kind of just talked about a little bit before, there's such a fine line clearly of how good of a restart do you want to get? I mean, I've covered a couple of these races since the Geico restart zones, and really haven't in the forums. Maybe if it was any issues with it in the forums, we would know about it, because you know how the forums are. And it's been pretty hush, so to see 2 issues start zone related, essentially back to back, very much a surprise. But it'll be interesting to see the post race chatter on that. But how good of a restart do you really want to get? Clearly, you don't want to get that good of a restart from the outside, because it's such a risk. And again, with no penalties being cleared in the moment, if you get that bad restart, you're dropped right to the back.
Yeah, and you know, it's really hard to police it here on iRacing. You know, it kind of seems like they've been firing at the exact same time, or not much, if any, before, but it's going ahead and giving them that penalty. So very unfortunate break for Raymond Reed after all he's been through here. Luckily for him, he is only 1 lap down. He's not going to get the free pass this time. If there is another caution, he'll get that free pass. Only 20 cars out there on the lead lap now. Robert Anderson, the last of those, in 20th. Should be coming back to the 1 to green here this time, but we'll have to see if Alex Murray decides to take the inside or outside. I'm assuming he's going to take the bottom. He's been down there for most of this race, as have most of the leaders. But Murray does appear to be selecting that inside lane. And to his outside, he's going to have the 57 of Cameron Stone. We'll have to see if he can go out there, spin on lap 1, win on the last lap. Everyone out there pretty much on equal tires, so just going to come down to who saved the best, who has the best setup and best restart here tonight.
And who's willing to be aggressive? Is anybody willing to use the bumper? Do they even have the incident points in the bank to use the bumper if possible? But we're coming down to it. As you said, this is a green-white checker restart. We are on lap 303, coming to 304. So we are beyond what we expected to run thus far this evening, and let's see what happens. Coming through 3 and 4 for what could be the the final time for a restart, or as we have 2 more in the bank if we need it. But Murray trying to cap off what's been a fabulous run here this evening. Pace cars into that very tenuous restart zone once more. And there we go. We're going to accelerate green, 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 and definitely Stone 3-4 car lengths back off the get-go. That's probably enough for Murray to be comfortable.
And there goes Stone driving in really deep into turn 1, gained a ton of ground onto the back bumper of Murray, but lost it all there on corner exit just due to overdriving that corner. Coming into turns number 3 and 4 for possibly the second to last time here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. If they can make it out of 4 here and make it to that white flag, then that will be the race. It looks like they are going to make it. Alex Murray taking the white flag here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, about 3 car lengths over Cameron Stone, going down into turns number 1 and 2. Stone driving in deep. He's getting a little bit closer. He's going to have to make a really big dive here into turns number 3 and 4 if he wants anything. He's going to definitely be close enough.
It's going to be a send it move. That's going to be super controversial if he chooses to make it. I don't think he is going to, but maybe he is. Maybe he is to the inside. Is there going to be contact? He does not. Luckily, he chooses to back out of it. And coming off of turn number 4, a dominating performance. Alex Murray wins at the Magic Mile.
Cameron Stone coming home in second, and Zach Roethlisberger in third. And very good move there from Cameron Stone. He dove it in there, almost made contact with him, but a very respectful way to end that race, and shout out to him for that.
Yeah, replay here from the blimp. You can see how far back he was. He absolutely just murdered it on entry there. He had to have backed off there at the absolute last second, because otherwise that was going to be a catastrophic way to end the race, and I don't think he would essentially been the Ross Chastain of the race if he did that. So but these guys are coming off of to complete their cool down laps, and Murray will do as such and celebrate his win there. Root doing a little door tap there and saying great job there, man. And while that is going on, let's go ahead and give you the final rundown and the final results here from the Magic Mile. With the victory here today at Loudon, congrats go to Alex Murray. Second place, Cam Stone on that dive bomb attempt. Zach Roethlisberger will be on the top end of the podium. In third, Mark Paget in fourth. John Delaney, a nice recovery for the top 5. Alex Van de Sant in sixth. Sammy Bury in seventh. Kevin Steele, a great run. Back-to-back top 10. Well, back-to-back good runs. He's going to finish 8th. Kyle Ammon in 9th. And Wayne Grassy in 10th.
And coming home in 11th, we have the 00 of Damaris Hickenbottom. In 12th, the 07 of Lucas Hoytsma. In 13th, the number 9 machine of Alex Princeton. In 14th, we have the 46 of Patrick Miche. In 15th, we have the 83 of Brandon Hastings. And then rest of the top 20, we have the 44 Randy Drummerhill, Justin Hall, Dalton Mobley, Robert Anderson, and rounding out the top 20, we have the 59 machine of Chad Sanner.
And remaining results will flash by on your screen right now. You can take a gander at them. There they go. They popped up this time, guys. Take a gander at that. Our 37 guys who did take time here this evening. But let's go ahead and head straight to Victory Circle and talk to the winner of today's race, Alex Murray. How does it feel, man? Absolute dominating performance here. You survived what looked like it was going to be a massive send-it mood from Cam, but luckily he backed off and you pull it in the Victory Circle tonight.
Yeah, my spotter was yelling in my ear, he's coming, and I just moved up the track just enough to not get hit. And I looked in my mirror, and there couldn't have been more than an inch between us there, and I knew he was going to give it his all, and because I believe he's winless as well this year, so he wants one just as bad as I did. So it was a great race. The car was great. Just couldn't be more happy and excited.
Now, coming into this race, I mean, Loudon is a track that, I mean, we saw, I don't know if you saw Patrick Mouché's scheme, that Loudon's not one of the most favorite tracks amongst these guys, but a very, very caution-ridden race, almost like a Martinsville. Was that kind of something you expected coming in today? Did you expect a lot of cautions and ultimately, a ton of varying strategies because of it?
I mean, no, to be honest with you, I thought for sure we were going to be out to lunch on the long runs, and made some adjustments there about halfway through the race that really helped it. And then the final pit stop there, we made another adjustment, and it put it on rails just enough to get us the win barely. But we were pretty good on old tires, but the new tires were we were definitely strong on the new tires.
Yeah, and you were able to save that set. What was the strategy? Last question for you. What was the strategy like with the tires? We saw that with all the pit stops, you guys had to have been straggling for maybe one set. Did you ultimately use all the tires you had available?
Yeah, so that last pit stop there, when the caution came out with about 10 to go, that was our last set, and I figured if we didn't get a caution, Mark had that thing won. But luckily the caution came out just at the right time, right before he got by me, and it worked out. But I think there were a couple guys that were just as good as us and didn't get to show it tonight.
Yeah, well, luckily for you, it works out at the Magic Mile. You get the Loud and the Lobster, all that fun stuff that comes along with it. Who do you want to thank for your victory here tonight, man?
Shamrock Auto Care, BD Technology Group, LLC. Race and Rehab, the whole Prodigy Esports team put a lot of work into the car this week, along with Frontline Esports. Can't thank those guys enough. Just everybody that makes it possible, my girlfriend for supporting me, and obviously my family for allowing me to take about 4 hours out of my night to come race with these guys. So it's a lot of fun.
All right, indeed the case, man. Congrats again, and maybe we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And now Evan has caught up with second place Cam Stone after that amazing send-it move on the final corner. We have Cam.
Well, Cam, so you spun out on lap 1, brought out the first caution, and ended up coming home second after that dive, trying to get the lead on that last corner. Do you think there's anything you could have done differently there? Kind of, walk us through your thought process there on that last restart.
I knew I had to get the best 1 and 2 of my life. Just the way they've got restart zones set up now. 2 guys that restarted in second got black flags, so I had to be cognizant of that, not get one myself. So, Alex definitely got the jump there, which I expected, but I just had to beat Roethlisberger off of 2, which did that. So kind of settled in and tried to just dive the corner as much as possible and get the rotation, and it was working. I think if it wasn't a green-white checkered, if I had about 5 laps to work with, I could have probably made something happen. But going in that last corner, I really just left it up to Alex what he was going to do. I had to dive it in there and basically cut the entry to even get alongside of him. So if he had took the aggressive route and tried to block that move, then we would have made contact, and who knows what happens at that point. But he did the right thing and knew I was going to lose speed in the center. He just entered a little bit higher and got the run off of the end, off of turn 4, and won the race. So I definitely want to win races. I have been the guy in the past in this league to wreck somebody in the last corner trying to win a race, but you don't necessarily want to win them like that when you got to race these guys every week. So congrats to him, and really, really happy to finish P2 after everything we went through tonight.
Yeah, you definitely ran a really good race out there. Was there any point throughout it that you had any doubts about being able to get it back up there into the top 5, top 10? Because I know, you were back up there around 35th at one point, and you managed to get back up there into the top 5. Did you ever have any doubts about that?
I knew we had a top 10 car, so really just tried not to get down on myself too much. During the early portions of the race with the track really hot, there was definitely a lot of guys that seemed like they had a lot more grip than we did, and it kind of looked like, you know, around lap 100 that 7th or 8th was probably about the best we were going to do, and then the car just started coming to life. The longer the race went, you know, we had a bunch of cautions that slowed down the pace of the race, and it got a lot cooler. So car started coming to life in stage 3, which is right when you want it to happen. So definitely got lucky on that front. The deal on lap 1, that kind of blew my mind. I mean, I'd come off at 2 underneath the guy. I mean, I did that another probably 100 times tonight, but I guess he got loose and was trying to collect it up and got into my right front, so I just locked him down, trying not to take out the 20 people behind me on the first lap.
Yeah, I did a great job to not cause any damage to that car, but is there anyone you'd like to give a thank or shout out to before we let you go here tonight?
Yeah, definitely want to shout out the guys at Triad. We had a few new faces in the league tonight from our team, so appreciate those guys showing up and working on setups and everything this week. Brandon Pierce, Andrew Skelnick, those guys put in a lot of work on this car, so really appreciate their efforts. Shout out to Coors Light, my make-believe sponsor. I believe I'm going to go have me a couple of them right now. Shout out to Mom and Dad. They went to a concert tonight. They usually watch all the races, so if they didn't catch this one, definitely got to tell them to watch it on the rerun. Appreciate all my teammates working with me all night. Alex Van de Sant, this is his first race with us, so I believe he ended up in the top 5, so he had a really good run. So looking forward to that moving ahead. Appreciate you guys in the booth. Thanks to Kevin and Damaris for putting on a great league, and congrats to Alex for finally getting that win.
All right, well, thanks for talking with us, Cam, and congrats on your 2nd place finish.
Thank you.
And Corey, let's go have a 3rd place finisher, Zach Roethlisberger.
All right, Zach, we talked to you a little bit earlier in the race. You had some confidence in a good run and had a good car, and you showed some flashes, and then a bunch of strategy just kind of throwed everything off there. What was it like from that perspective, and how was it getting back up through that big cluster at the end and getting back on the podium?
Yeah, those restarts there towards the end kind of dictated everything, and luckily we kind of found a hole, closed our eyes, and sent it in there, and she stuck. So, it was kind of, we're all bouncing off each other there. So, I figured we'd, once that caution came out after that longer run, we probably had, a top 5 car is what we were looking at. We were looking at a P5 position or something along those lines. And that restart came out, and there was a big crash, and we got pushed back a little bit, and then we were able to make up a couple spots there. So it was kind of mayhem at the end, and not much strategy to it other than just send it in and hope she sticks.
Yeah, exactly that. And you worked out on the good side of it. And from what we see here, that I think it's your first race in the 100%, like the Cup Series, if that's not mistaken. So having such a good first initial start, what kind of confidence that give you for the rest of the campaign with these guys?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We ran the qualifier race last night, and we're fortunate enough to win that. And figured we'd give it a shot here tonight, and had a lot of fun running with these guys, and learned a lot, and excited to move forward with the series and see what it holds. So, yeah, it was a great debut. Hopefully, we turn some heads, and hopefully we can continue it moving forward.
Yeah, and we'll be looking forward to covering you do just that, my friend. Any shout-outs, thanks you want to give for your podium here tonight?
I want to thank, this is a EPI setup, so Michael Conti built this setup. I want to thank those guys. As you guys saw, probably, I got a blank car, no team, no sponsors, so kind of out on a limb here on who to thank. So we'll see what happens there moving forward. But I just want to give EPI a shout out. That was their setup in the car tonight, and thanks for the admins and you guys broadcasting and everybody that makes the series go around.
All right, well, maybe you can get some plasters on that sponsor on that car for next week at Pocono. Congrats again. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
All right, so that is our that's a show there, Evan. A calamity-ridden race here, nonetheless, at Loudon, but saw a thriller of a finish. Any final takeaways?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a little bit different than what we expected. I was expecting a little bit cleaner here tonight, but still a very fun show, and these guys always put on a great race every single week, and super excited to tune in next week on 3Y TV to check out these guys at Pocono, and then we'll have them back here on PTR TV the week after on July 30th, and they'll be at the Indy Road Course for that, which should be pretty fun to watch these guys try and tackle that track.
Indeed, it'll be the new version, we believe, but we'll get the updates on that as they come out. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you have not done so. Still in our battle to hit 1,000, and it's a long shot, but we're still being optimistic that we can achieve the goal. And we'll be live here on PTR TV again tomorrow night with the Scar Radical series, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But signing out of the booth here tonight is Corey and Evan. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a great night.